All right, and we are live. Welcome back to the Eye of Stone podcast. This is not our first live stream, but it is our first live stream on a Saturday, and feels weird. Feels weird to not be rushing and panicking and trying to get to this on time. We started it on time too.
Yes, we did.
We started it
Very
right
proud
on
of us.
time. Yeah, go us. If any of you guys have paid attention to any of our other live streams, which we usually do on Wednesdays, or we try to, we don't necessarily start on time because we're all getting off work and trying
It's great. Fashionably late.
And you might ask, well, why don't you just change the start time? Well, we have to, make dinner or go do things because we've been at work all day. So we basically have like an hour and a half window after work where we can do this before
Rush
it's
around.
Yeah. So it is what it is. But yeah, this is nice. So we're going to let things get a little warmed up here. So if you're watching this later and it's been recorded already, probably be about 5 or 6 minutes and we'll get things rolling. We're going to see if we get anybody tuning in. I'm going to go ahead and start posting this live on social media just so people know what we're doing. How's your day been, Dima?
Really chill. Just out here, worked until 5 and then just relaxed after that. So
yeah,
work was absolutely easy as can be.
Yeah, I forgot you even had to work today.
Yes, but it was not bad.
I did yard work all day. Finally,
it's a good day for it. It didn't really feel too terrible outside.
So. No, it felt nice. And so for anyone listening or watching, we just got through the effects of the hurricane that somehow or another tail whipped Ohio. And we got a shit ton of rain for days, nonstop rain. And I live in a massive cornfield essentially, and they decided to cut a circle in the middle and throw my neighborhood in it. So it's very flat and water just stands.
Yeah.
And my yard was wet pretty much a week after the rain stopped. Like I couldn't cut grass. I couldn't do anything with the leaves. And boy, are the leaves falling. So
yes, they are.
It was nice to get out there today and get the yard looking good again.
Yeah.
It's very satisfying.
You've obviously seen my backyard where the dog area is pretty much at the bottom of that slight little hill that goes down.
Yeah.
The dog area is still wet a little bit. I got a picture this morning at work and there was just brown stuff all over the dining room area. And I was like, is that poop or is that mud? And I was thinking like maybe the dog had like explosive diarrhea for something that they ate or some weird shit. So, but it was mud, thankfully, but there was a lot of it. I was like, holy crap, thank God I wasn't there to deal with that.
I don't know what it is about your backyard, but it's just like one of the worst backyards ever. It doesn't make any sense. Well, I will say the one thing you have working against you is like your house is kind of built into a ridge, like a mini ridge.
It is.
But you're at the bottom of it, where like most houses would be built into the top of it, and all the water would run away.
Right.
Yours just like collected. And that's why I'm amazed that little fix I did on your basement window has held up all these years. Like if you think about all the winters it's gone through and all the downpours, and it's actually really impressive. Not to pat myself on the back. I think it's impressive that it just magically worked because I don't know. I got lucky on that. I didn't know what I was doing.
Well, it's more for the fact that it's worked for so long.
Mm-hmm.
But once we end up like taking the time to like redo that landscaping there, it's going to make it so much easier. I'm going to build it up a little bit more and then probably just throw rock down or something on the side there just so I don't have to deal with it anymore.
Yeah. All right. So I'm about to get this posted on Twitter. It took me a minute to find our live. It's always weird, like when we're live and then I go to our YouTube channel on a separate device. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I know we're live, but I have to go to our YouTube and actually find our live. And so I don't know why it trips me out, but okay. Dude, I made this. I meant to send you this. I made this really cool cover for this. It looks like not like Forensic Files, but maybe like a Netflix documentary on a serial killer. Like, I'll show you in a
It
second.
wasn't what you put on Vero, was it?
No, I haven't shared this anywhere. I've been saving it to be the exclusive cover for this live stream.
Okay.
So,
What
hold on.
Dawson?
Dawson.
I'm not who I pretend to be. I'm an actor playing me. Oh, yeah. One of the lights on your post from earlier.
Oh. Okay, we're live. Come watch and talk Married to Crow with us. I think that's pretty much covering the bases there.
Hells yeah.
And then I'll just put one on Instagram too, and then we can get this rolling. I'll just put it on my personal Instagram. I feel like I have more followers than our Ivestone. Our Ivestone Instagram just has no attention to it. And It sucks because Instagram is my favorite app.
Yeah.
But I just feel like people don't use it like they used. I don't know.
They don't. It was really big my senior year of high school.
Oh, Jesus. Well, it's just funny because I feel like I use it so much, but I don't do the thing that I'm expecting others to do. I don't follow pages anymore.
Oh, yeah.
If I see something I like, I favorite it, and then it's in my saved. So I can go to my saved and reference it later. Because I'm like, I don't want to see everything that a page shares, but sometimes I just want to reference something.
Yes, makes sense. So
it's very rare that I follow anybody anymore. So I can't really expect anyone to follow us, but what is going on Instagram? Okay, that works.
Shout out to my co-workers watching us.
Co-walk. That sounded like like an Ewok, but like a co-Ewok.
I've been stumbling on my words all day.
I just assume you do that daily, but okay.
Oh, I do, but we're just going to make
we'll pretend it's a rare occurrence. Yeah, you're having a bad brain day.
Yes, I'm lagging a little bit. I need that upgrade.
All right, we are live. I don't know if I have a good way to show you. Actually, yeah, I can just bring it on here. I'm stupid. Act like we don't have technology right in front of us. Okay, and that should also go to my Facebook. So just in case anybody out there wants to get a little viewy on us. All right. Yeah, I can't wait to show you. I actually just made this yesterday morning. So I haven't been sitting on it too long. Okay. I haven't done this while we're live. So let's see if this works. I have to airdrop to my MacBook and then present it in StreamYard.
Not me. I don't do it that way.
It's a little nervous. Okay, there we go. And nope. Never mind. All right, present. I am done. Dima, forgive me. 1 second. I keep forgetting that there's not like a way to share an image directly through StreamYard, so I have to do the screen share thing. But we're good. I got this. That's the one thing I have a complaint about. It's like I click present, you say slides, extra camera, video file. Like, why isn't there just share an image?
Right.
Hi, Dima. Hello, Samantha Baker. I'm not Dima, but Dima doesn't pay attention to chat, so.
Oh, I had it on the private chat.
What? Well, here.
Hello, Baker. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, Samantha. We appreciate it. We'll be talking about our movie here in a few minutes. All right. So, Dima, now I can show you this cover that I'm excited about. Well. Oh, there we go. All right. One day I'm going to get this down. It'll be nice and smooth.
Oh, my. Oh, that's, yes. That's awesome.
Yeah, dude, 100%. I was like, it reminds me of like some cold case files or something. Yeah. Like, I don't know.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, so there's that.
Love it. Love to see it.
Yeah. Okay, I need to remove some stuff from our. Oh, yeah, I can do that. Stop screen. Okay. I don't want to remove our movie. That would be bad. Okay, there we go. So, all right, we'll let the links for our live sit on here for a couple more minutes, see if anyone pops in, and then we'll get this rolling. We can go ahead and start talking about what exactly we're going to be doing. So, obviously, this is going to be a live watch through of our first film, a short film, but our first film nonetheless, Mary Decroux. And during this, we are going to talk over the movie. So basically, this is going to be Dima and myself reminiscing about what is on screen. We are not going to pause the movie. We're going to play it all the way through, but it may inspire some conversation about maybe what went into filming the particular scene, what inspired it, or maybe little fun facts, yada, yada. And then after the movie is done, I'm going to be sharing some behind the scene images, videos, and something that almost happened, and it was over my head, but we almost had a Mary Decroux noir, which was going to be a black and white version of the film with alternate versions of a lot of the scenes. And I'm going to share one of those and show you the difference from what was in the movie. So, and it's not ever going to happen. So hopefully you guys don't get all excited and think, oh man, I need that. Well, it's not going to happen. Just editing what I'm going to show you took me forever. It's not like you just put a black and white filter. Well, I guess you could do that. It would look like crap, but I have to go in there and edit certain colors in different ways to make them look and basically have the same tone that they do when they're in color. And you would think, oh, just remove the saturation. It doesn't work like that. So, oh, look at this
Saggy.
familiar face. Hey.
Oh.
That is not her name anymore.
Yes, my mistake.
How dare you? But thank you for tuning in. It's good to see you. I hope you're doing well.
Yes, absolutely.
She is the infamous holder of the Snyder Cult mask.
Yes, she is.
If she didn't burn it already, I think kind of freaked me out. So, and it's funny. That's what this used to hold, and now it's got my stupid mime face on it. So, okay. She said I still have it. That's awesome. You should do a live stream wearing it.
Yes.
I promise I cleaned it before we sent it to you. So it's on my dresser. I also have it.
That's awesome.
I forgot we sent her the storyboard too.
I did too.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I wanted to have storyboard for this to show, and I can't find it. So I think, I still have all those boxes in my garage.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's amongst all my art stuff in there. So unfortunately, I just didn't feel like digging through it.
Right.
I thought of it last minute today when I was getting ready for this. I'm like, oh well, maybe down the road, maybe when we're doing a stream for our next movie, I can show the storyboards. Should. Yeah. Because my favorite one was the storyboard I drew for the scene where Jordan is holding the Bible.
Yes.
Just because we actually changed how that was like. My storyboard shows a little bit different than what actually ended up happening.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's cool when we can improve on something in the moment. So it's like the storyboard can just inspire us, but it's not necessarily like a guideline,
Right.
So that's one of my favorite ones. Most of them follow what I drew, though. She said I'm lurking. She is awesome. All right. Well, think we've waited long enough. We'll possibly have some people popping in. Oh, also, we may have some of the guys that were a part of making the movie popping in after we are done with the watch through. I need to message them a link as well. Sorry, guys. I told you 6 minutes. It's been 15, so a little bad at our time management. All right. I'll send a link later if you guys want to hop on and chat with us. All right. Now, I guess we'll go ahead and get this rolling. All right. So, for anyone who's watching, we're about to watch through a movie. And like I said, we're not going to stop or pause it for anything. We are going to be talking over the movie, not the whole time, but if there's anything either of us feel like we want to say, we're just going to say it. We will be talking spoilers. So if you've not watched the movie and you don't want it spoiled, go to our YouTube channel and watch it. We did post it a couple months ago, and then we had to private it because we submitted it into a film festival. So I made a playlist titled Films. It's the only movie in there, so it's right at the top of our page. You can just go and find it, watch it, and then this will be posted on our page. It won't go anywhere, so you don't get to watch it live, but you can watch this afterwards and maybe get some of your questions answered. So fair warning, before we watch this movie, we are going to be doing some heavy spoiler discussion. So all right. Is there anything you want to say, Dima, before we jump into
You
this
said it. Let's get going.
monstrosity? All right.
Very excited.
So, without further ado, this is Mary Decroux. Dima, just letting you know, if you hover over the screen in the bottom right-hand corner, you can full screen it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Fun fact, that was a whole sequence we filmed, and I decided to add that in the beginning just because I thought it was creepy and it deserved to be seen. But the whole rest of that scene is just gone. Decided not to add it in the film. This is still my favorite song on the soundtrack.
Same.
Just because it's completely different from everything else. So we only used an iPhone 14 Pro Max and a Canon T6 Rebel to film this movie, and it was mostly on the Canon. This whole intro was filmed with an iPhone because we wanted it to look super crisp to fit with the bright music and contrast the rest of the film. This whole shot was Dima's idea, and I thought it was brilliant.
That's before I got my big trash can.
Dima was standing on a chair holding the phone up next to his floodlights to make it look like it was a camera.
It magically worked, though.
So yes, we have chapter title cards in this movie, which was also a last minute decision, but I feel like it really helps kind of organize things because, spoiler alert, this movie isn't exactly in order in terms of the timeline. Steven is our main protagonist, and this chapter is the shortest, but it definitely tells you everything you need to know about Steven. This was also the first thing we filmed for this movie.
Yes, it was.
It's funny to think about how much I practice miming a wall just to film this
Right.
scene. This is the only scene where I do a wall mime. Besides the hallway, but that's me actually practicing, and we just filmed it, so.
I forgot that I picked a good day to be a little shaky with the camera.
Sometimes the shakiness adds to
It
it,
works, yeah.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. I rebuke you.
So initially, this scene was followed after me running down the hallway, pretending to mime on a tightrope and doing other shenanigans. And I tripped and fell into the ladder. And it was all a direct sequence, but then we decided it would be really cool to go from me almost putting the face paint on to having this premonition. And then you see, oh, he fell on the floor afterwards.
I'm here down right now. Check it out. Hello?
I love that shot.
Hello? Anybody down here?
I forgot how good that looks. Because that hallway looks straight and deep. I mean, it was deep, but I forgot like how straight we made that look.
That was all you.
Mm-hmm.
That was all you.
I don't know how we didn't get the cops called on us for that.
I don't know.
That looks so bad.
One of my favorite characters in this movie. He doesn't have enough screen time.
It does not.
Detective Hanson, go.
Hey, it's Chet. We had another 1057 down on Willow.
All right, I'm guessing we're thinking this is related to the others.
Yes, sir. Private security for a small office building. They found his bike in a local neighborhood, covered in blood. I just don't know what's going on out there, man. It's just like the others. Can't find his body anywhere. So, fun fact, my wife and I are the only voices that you'll hear on a cell phone or a radio. My wife did an awesome job as a police dispatcher, too.
Yes, she did. That was you calling.
This scene almost got removed, but I just liked it too much.
It's really fitting for the character. Like, it really shows an extra layer of, like, what he is.
And I agree.
That scene took, like, 10 takes to get it down the way we wanted it.
You talking about just flipping the hat?
Yeah.
Yeah, because no one will ever know unless we show the raw video. Right. I actually flipped it from behind me and caught it in my front hand without looking, which is really hard to do. And I got it in 2 takes because he had to get it from the back end and the front end. So I did it twice. It is the only shot in this movie where I look directly at the camera. Initially, we intended to have a lot more to make you feel like I was looking at you, and I changed my mind on that.
I think that was the right way to go.
I agree. By the way, it really hurts to just run into a wall like that.
Love to see it, though.
if anyone's choosing to watch this for the first time with us, don't worry. I will be answering what's going on pretty much throughout this entire movie after it's all said and done. There's some things I'm just choosing to wait to say.
Mhm.
I love that cell phone vibrating. That was one of the hardest things to mix sound-wise, because when the camera's farther away, I felt like the vibrating needed to be kind of not as what's the word I'm looking for? I guess just loud, you know, like I wanted it to seem like the camera was closer, it was louder. If it was farther away, it wasn't.
Make it a little more realistic. I don't remember that part. Is that new?
No, I haven't touched this since I finished it. And that's supposed to be the first little inkling of, oh, somebody might be following him. So I will talk about the premonition now, because you saw me killing this mime, which may or may not have happened. I will not clarify on that right now, but I will say he has been idolizing the street mime, which is what inspired him to want to find a way to paint his face and start mastering being a mime. Stephen finds a comfort in silence and feels the more he embraces it, the happier he will be.
You have one message. Hey man, it's Chet. Sorry for calling so late.
I
can't
love
keep up
this
with
shot.
anybody's on and off cycle anymore. I mean, shit, I can't even keep up.
Dude,
with
Rain
schedule.
worked with us perfectly for filming.
To be honest with you, I was calling to check in on you. I know those nights can
It's
be
like we
rough.
got rain when we wanted it, and it didn't
With all
rain when
these
we didn't
people
want
on
to.
this
We just got lucky because we
I
didn't
don't
plan
know,
it
man,
on the
he's on nobody.
forecast.
No,
You know,
it
we
worked out
just
very well.
filmed when we could get people available and
anymore these days, but
prayed for the best.
there's something with all these people going missing that I need to tell you. So, hey, maybe if you want to swing out to my old place on Etienne Road sometime, we can catch up, and I'll fill you in.
Etienne Road.
Just shoot
Etienne
me a text
Decroux
when
is
you're
the
on your way
mime
out.
that heavily inspired my character.
I'll see you then. Later.
And here comes one of my favorite scenes in the movie. Thema, that's dirty. Ah.
I forgot how real that looked.
So for those of you wondering, when Dima is on screen, we had Grant Morton, which he plays the street mime in the movie, as the cameraman. He did an excellent job with this
Very
entire
good.
sequence.
And the stuff that we had to do to get that hoodie to look that rough.
He also designed your costume for this,
Yeah.
which he did a great job with that as well.
Fantastic.
When I was writing the script for this movie, this was honestly one of the only things that actually gave me chills just thinking about it. The idea that I'm so removed from humanity that I don't look at death as a problem. I look at it as something I can mime.
Yeah. It shows how messed up he is in the head. Like,
Oh yeah, I'm a lost cause. In the original script for this movie, Steven had an infatuation with this girl, and after talking to Dima for a long time, we decided to revise the script and remove that because it made Steven more human,
mhm.
which we didn't want him to feel human.
Yeah, we went back and forth.
We
Yes,
did.
no, yes.
And then
like
you
said,
had a revision that still involved the love element to an aspect, or not a love, but an infatuation element. And then we decided against that as well. And I'm glad we did.
No, I am too. Like you said, it made him seem more human, which I think would have taken away what we're trying to do with him the whole time.
And that was why I wanted to remove the dumpster scene too, because him trying to eat food is a human thing. So, but I left it because I ended up deciding he was still early in his transition.
Well, not just that, but it shows that he doesn't have a place. Like, if you don't show that he's eating from a dumpster, to me, it shows like, oh, maybe he's getting food from his house.
Absolutely.
But that just shows like he doesn't have anywhere to go. So he's just out in the wild, per se.
Yeah, and glad you mentioned that. Oh, that
right
shot.
There. Real quick,
so
that thing took forever, I felt like, because I couldn't get the zoom right. But
I actually have
one of my favorite scenes.
I don't have them to share, but I have videos of when we were practicing that shot, like on the iPhone and on the camera. So basically the idea there, for everyone who doesn't know, I forget what it's called, but basically you're either zooming in while moving out, or you're zooming out while moving in. And it creates this really uncomfortable effect where it feels like everything's moving even though it's in place.
That.
So, and he pulled it off perfectly for that shot.
Took a little bit.
No children were hurt in the making of this film.
We got permission from all the parents.
We got consent from all parents involved.
So, which they honestly did a great job. The kids did a great job. They were fantastic. They did everything we asked them to with no issue. They were excited about it. I was very impressed. I got no other way to describe it other than they did a great job.
Yeah. Yes. They wanted to do more, which is what was crazy.
Yeah.
It's like, no, we've done enough.
Yeah, we're trying to keep it as PG as we could while filming.
So the idea of this scene is, right now, you haven't seen Steven kill anybody. And now you have.
Yeah.
So Steven is realizing to create silence, he can't have a limit. He has to do whatever he needs to do. And they were being too noisy.
Yeah.
When we did our live watch party with the cast, Cody loved that scene just because it showed like, I killed these kids and now I'm laying on their trampoline.
Yeah. So with this, I forget what you were doing, but I was just like messing around with the camera. My dad was cutting grass. So I just started filming him and I was like, kill him.
Yeah, and I just took off. I just started walking toward him and you were like, okay. Yeah, so I'm glad you mentioned that. That whole scene wasn't planned or in the script. And there's a couple like that. So yeah, thanks for mentioning that.
Yeah,
and the best part is your dad just went with it.
Yeah, he was excited about it.
Yeah.
Damn it, I could have swore I heard something down here.
I have a fun behind the scenes thing for this later. The music being used here is one of my favorites on the soundtrack. It's called Transcendence. It was heavily inspired by the Warriors soundtrack.
What? Who did that? Who shut that door? Hey! Who's in my house? Hey! I'll call the police. You better get out.
What I like about this is how realistic this could be. Like, I know a lot of elderly people that don't lock their doors because they're old school, and somebody like this could walk in your house and they take forever to get around. So
really creepy.
Yeah, it is creepy. Like I kind of pictured my grandma, being home upstairs by herself. Like someone could come in, she'd have no idea.
Yeah.
So this was not planned at all. This was actually something I came up with. We were walking through the woods and I just thought, out in the woods is somewhere you get away when you're just a normal person.
Yeah.
So Steven's trying to do that and practice his miming, and it still doesn't really work out, as you're going to see. I love the scream in silence.
Yes.
So earlier we have Steven scream and he shows remorse for making noise. So it's like he's learned, you know. I can be angry without making noise.
Yes.
Now this whole sequence is connected to our next film. And you will see the other side of things in that film, and it's going to be one of those. So very excited for that. And yes, this is a different version of Steven. This is not the main character of this movie. Any questions about this version of Mary Decroux, I'll answer at the end of the movie.
What the
There's
fuck
a
are you doing here?
whole explanation about what's
What the
going
fuck are
on
you
here.
doing Dude, what the fuck are you doing here? What the fuck are you doing here? Dude, get the fuck...
Shout out to Ryan Madden. He's one of the boys in our camp. He shows up for everything, does everything solid. He's a really good actor and hell of a musician. So it's cool to get to feature both those aspects in this film.
Dude, hold on. Hold up. No. Dude, get the fuck... I would call the fucking police. Dude, I swear to fucking God.
I had a lot of fun mixing the sound for this version of Mary Decroux, which that's a key distinction between him and Steven that I'll talk about later. Also, that is a very expensive guitar, so it was scary trying to fake stomp on it and not actually break it. Ryan was very nervous during the filming of that. I love the way the music syncs with the movement in this whole sequence. The chime hits just hit right on beat.
Yes.
Boom. Poor dog. So the idea with that is the mime, the street mime. That's his house. That was his girl that I was stalking, and I am inside there. You can imagine what I'm doing. You can just say you will not see the street mime anymore.
Calling all cars. A reported 1054 at 3373 Wall Road.
Ah, there he is.
Reported seeing possible suspect.
Lord Matthew the Monument Jones.
They are to be considered armed and dangerous.
Featured on Wednesdays, Franchise Hump Days, if you guys tune in on our lives in the middle of the week. Solid dude, solid actor, always shows up and puts in the work. Really appreciate him. I got a fun behind the scenes with that whole team too. Love this shot, Dima. So he is playing Detective Iyer, and the idea here is that he has some kind of intuition when it comes to Steven. There's a connection between them, almost a bond, if you will, which is explained more in our next movie. I love that because if you read it, it looks like it says lunatic on the loose. But if you look at the letter missing and you play the game Hangman, it would be lunatic on a noose. But it's one of those things that your brain would just automatically fill in if you don't pay attention.
Right.
I like being clever.
That's pretty much the name of this movie. It's all cleverness.
Well, it's us thinking we're clever. Maybe we're just idiots.
This scene, this whole sequence right here is my favorite.
Yeah.
Huge shout out right there.
Yes, William Baker, who plays a big part in everything we do, but he helped us with this, got approval from his department. It was awesome to add this whole element to our movie. It just made it feel bigger, made it feel real.
Honestly, this is just because I was the one behind the camera there. That was my favorite part to just film, and it just happens to be my favorite sequence of the whole thing.
Yeah,
and I'd have to say this is probably a close second.
Ah, yes, the interview without questions or words.
I was asked by Father Mateo to sit in on his behalf. Am I to understand you seek absolution?
So that is Deacon Peter Lawrence, played by Dickie Williams. Good
Ah,
friend of ours.
That's right.
Heavily involved in everything we do
informed
as
of your
well.
preferred method of communication.
Deacon Peter Lawrence is a huge part of this little cinematic universe we're building. And you guys are going to learn to really appreciate him in his movie, which would come after our next movie.
He's such a natural too.
He is. He is.
He's always just does it.
Kind of pisses me off, honestly.
Right.
Look at him. He's just like, yeah, I'm good.
Like, this is pretty much one scene.
Like, I'm almost
we filmed one part.
I'm almost convinced his sweat is acting. That's how good he is.
Right.
Like, he's got it timed and everything.
Like, all right, this sweat will drip now.
The whole cat and mouse thing with the police officer and Steven is great. Because it really was that dark out at that park that night.
Yeah.
Like, if there wasn't a light on something you couldn't see, and it was raining.
Yes.
So you couldn't really hear anything either. So it made sense that somebody who's trying to be a mime would be able to get away pretty easily.
Yeah.
This scene is also going to kind of get answered in our next movie and really get answered in the movie about Deacon Peter Lawrence. I will tell you guys, Deacon Peter Lawrence may or may not have a demonic possession thing going on, which is why he got banished from his church.
The king demands your obedience and the slaying of the yellow.
Love that shot. And I love that shot. Two great shots back to back. Thank you, Dima. And this. Dude, this whole sequence is so good.
I got locked in the back trying to get out the film.
But, like, those shots remind me of watching Cops.
It does, yes.
Like, the cameraman's camera's kind of bouncing, but you still manage to stay locked on. It's so good. All right, so the scene takes a minute. So you're going to see a bunch of police lights and stuff pop up in the woods. And up near the top right middle, kind of, you'll see a helicopter drop down. When Jordan watched this for the first time, he was really impressed with the helicopter. This is it. I hung this on fishing line in front of a green screen, and I dropped it down, and I did the angle like the helicopter does in that scene. And then I took away the saturation, and I, in post effects, just added a blinking light and a spotlight. And that's how that happened. Toy helicopter.
Gotta do what we gotta do.
Hey, no budget movie.
Yeah.
We should have named our production company Two Broke Jokes. Ah, man. This is probably one of the most fun scenes that we filmed. Like, I felt like we just kind of got a little crazy in this little circle enclosed by the crime scene tape. We had a ladder, a chair, and a noose, and we just came up with this awesome sequence. And yes, as you see, the other version of Mary Decroux is indeed stalking Stephen.
That ladder was so sketchy to be on.
I love that we used a workout rope, because it's not like every household just has ropes laying around.
Right.
So it's kind of like something that could be in a house that someone would grab.
Gotta make what you can.
It's heavy duty.
Yeah. That was so like.
Dispatching any nearby units to 98
I love that.
Woodsdale Drive. We need a response to trouble alarm, possible B&E. The security system reported no response from the
Shout out to my
residents.
wife, great dispatcher.
Be advised of active crime scene for recent 1056, same address.
That's what's crazy is like she's so clear sounding. Like it sounds legit.
Yeah, she agreed to do it, but she said I had to make it not sound like her. So I had to do some voice modulation. And it was funny because she heard it playing back and she was like, wow, that really doesn't sound like me.
Yeah.
I'm like, I told you I wouldn't. I mean, we had a deal. Shout out to your fiance. She played a great dead girl.
I'm actually surprised she did that.
That's an Oscar winner right there.
Yes, it is. Red carpet, here we come.
This is one of those scenes I just love how the soundtrack fits with it. It feels weird saying that because I wrote and recorded all the music, but fuck it. I love it. Ah, the reveal. Two Mary Decroux. But which one leaves the basement? Go get him, Matt. Pow pow. So what's funny is in terms of sequence of events, him opening the door right here and walking down the stairs,
Hey,
that's where the timeline
Just
ends.
checking in.
Yeah.
Hopefully days are being good to you.
This
Nights have been ass.
actually happened earlier in the movie.
Hey, we got a missing persons case. It's gaining weight.
He's listening to the
I know that's like
voicemail
saying there's
because he
trees
didn't
in the
answer his
woods.
phone earlier.
There's been a noticeable rise lately, and there's something else. They're all members of the same church. It's your church, Ire.
So Steven's been targeting members of a church.
Well,
Just call me when you can. I know you want to leave this all behind, but I think there's something more here. Talk to you soon.
Oh, R.I.P. Detective Hansen. So, oh, hold on.
I forgot about this.
I actually love these credits. Shout out to Etienne Decroux, the father of mime. And I'll show you guys afterwards. His face paint actually heavily inspired Mary Decroux's look. A lot of this is behind the scenes or deleted scenes.
Fucking name, damn it, I'm sorry.
It's right there. There was an extended version where I was really into the version of me hanging. You just follow me.
Forgot about
Because
that.
I'm going to be coming at this, but like in this moment. There's me stomping on the guitar. That was a shout out to Signs, the alien walking across the alleyway. And this is a whole scene where I eat a horse that we removed. I'm glad we did, but it's still crazy. Wow. So this is basically, I can't even say it's a tease because it is directly from our next movie. Although in the movie it is cut differently. But I didn't want to give too much away, so this was just the uncut version of the sequence that would be in JJ Sundry, which is our next movie. And this is Renrir Wolfenslayer, which is a Viking that Dimitri plays in the movie, amongst other roles. I loved filming this too. Yes, I filmed this. Me, not you, team. That is the same hallway the old man was walking down earlier in the movie. Just so you guys can maybe connect the dot too. If you rewatch the movie, in that scene when the old man is going down the hallway and he shuts the door, the lights go off. And that was because if you look very closely, you'll see Dima's character briefly appear in the hallway. And we'll get a little bit more into what's going on with that later.
I miss my beard being that long.
I'm just glad we filmed this when we had the opportunity to.
Yes.
And we got all we needed out of that version of Renrir Wolfenslayer because his appearance changes in the movie a little bit. So I'm going to explain this in full detail. So you see the headless alternate version of Mary Decroux that was stalking Steven in a dumpster with his head missing. You see crows flying to the open door on the dumpster looking in. I imagined that would look like this. Light peeking through into the darkness and a crow approaching. Multiple crows. Fun fact, I filmed all of this by myself when I was in bereavement for the loss of my grandma. None of this was scripted. I came up with all of this in a day, and I filmed it in an entire day. And I surprised Dima with it when I showed him the movie. So right there, you're getting a glimpse at the full attire of the chosen Mary Decroux. Just kind of remember that dummy there and that attire that's on it. I have some funny behind the scenes of this too. It took a lot of work to film all this by myself. It really did. Yes.
That's accurate.
Best comment ever. You know how they put quotes on movie boxes and shit? I would want that on ours. The hell is this?
Attention any nearby units, we got a 1059 at 505 Old Harbor Drive. That's 505 Old Harbor Drive. Neighbors reported hearing loud screams and seeing motion lights triggered. No answer from the residency.
Alright, Detective Ire's still alive.
February 17 did want me to advise the call came in from a Peter Lawrence. We do not have a residency under that name in the area.
Step away from the body! Hands in the air! Step away from the body now! I will shoot! Hands! Stop!
All about that. Oh my god.
So, like I said, this wasn't originally a part of the movie. So, the tease of JJ Sundry was the end. And I decided to add this epilogue because I thought it was important to show that Steven, because Steven is the one that survived in that basement face-off, Steven is becoming something else. Steven's dedication to the art of silence is actually devote faith that he just doesn't realize to a greater religion, if you will, but there is a cult, which is kind of what you see in that whole sequence. There is a cult that has basically put not a hex, but almost like it's like there's an attire that is possessed by something else, like not a demon, but this cult worships silence like it is a deity, like a god. And whoever bears this attire has the full capability of Mary Decroux. And that's why when you see that alternate version of Mary Decroux and he does the thing with his hand and he's turning it, he has the capability to control sound around him to an extent. But with that high-powered amp, and Ryan was just cranking on that guitar, it was still too much, and he had to silence him. But if he had the full attire, things might have been different. And that's what's cool is you don't see Mary Decroux, Steven, or the alternate version wear the full attire in the entire movie. But you will in another movie. And I can't wait to show that off because it is crazy. Oh. What's this? A clown ate a lumberjack. This guy's literally going to put all the quotes on our DVD cover.
Yes. Definitely appreciate that.
Appreciate you. And even if you do not like our movie, we appreciate any feedback because we are in the middle of making a sequel to this movie. And we've probably got, what would you say, like 15% of it filmed, maybe, if that. So we still have a lot of filming to do. We're planning on releasing it next fall. So maybe we would change some things here and there depending on feedback because I actually just rewrote some aspects of the movie, which part of that's just me having a hard time committing to my own art. But also I came up with a really cool idea. I ran it by him because he is the lead in the movie and I want him to be on board with everything. And so with that being said, you know, I always believe art is never finished. It's forever growing. Even when it's hanging on a wall in a museum, someone can interpret it in a different way and expand on it in a different way. And I think that's what's so cool about art. So yeah, we're making this movie, and any feedback would be greatly appreciated because you might inspire new ideas. So
that's the thing about us. I don't want to say downside because it really is something that's like, I see it as a positive, where both of us, with the way, whether we're behind the camera or in front of it, we're typically not as satisfied as the other one might be. And it's just because we're both perfectionists with what we do.
yeah.
And we're forever learning with our equipment. We're forever learning new ways of what we want to do, whether it's in front of the camera or behind the camera. And like I said, I think it's a good thing. Like, the way I look at it is that's a good thing and is what we need for what we're doing.
Absolutely. So yeah, with that being said, whether you got nice things to say or terrible things to say,
Good, better,
we
and
want to
ugly.
hear it. We want to hear it. So we appreciate anything at all.
Here comes all the negative comments.
Like, I mean, in a video I posted earlier where I said I'm not doing my Saturday episode for the podcast today, I literally was like, tell us you never want us to make a movie again. Like, that'd actually be funny to hear.
Yeah. I mean, we're still going to.
I would say it'd probably drive me to make like more movies.
Right.
I'd be putting them out like a vending machine. No, but anyway, so back to the idea of Mary Decroux. There is a cult that may have some correlation with what's going on with Peter Deacon Lawrence.
Yep.
I'm not really clarifying that right now because there are some things I want to leave for other movies to explain.
Yes.
So I'm not going to go full spoiler on our entire cinematic universe, if you will, but like in the confines of Mary Decroux, there is a cult. They worship silence like a god, and they have these abilities that are demonic. They don't know that. So there is demonic possession going on. And essentially they are able to assign a Moses, if you will, for their religion to go out and basically cast silence on the land. So parting the Red Sea is actually parting the world of people, because people make noise more than anything. People create things that make noise. And eventually Stephen is going to realize that, and Stephen is going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Yes.
Now, the full attire. In this movie, there are 3 Mary Decroux that you see. And that's something that could trip a lot of people out. So the fun thing we played around with was what tied to what Mary Decroux, and then how are they all in this same world? Well, when you see JJ Sundry, that will all make sense. So that can kind of prep you for what kind of movie JJ Sundry is. I'll actually read you the theory that I came up with, because I actually came up with a full like scientific theory to make sense out of what JJ Sundry is. So we'll get into that in a little bit. But essentially, in the premonition, you see Mary Decroux wearing a yellow button-up shirt, and he has the beret. And he puts his hands up like this because Peter Deacon Lawrence is holding a Bible. And that's very symbolic because the Bible, in this case, is being used as a weapon. So I thought that Mary Decroux putting his hands up like this is almost as if someone's pointing a gun at him. So, and he's frozen. And it's not like he's frozen because of a supernatural power. He is frozen because of fear. So that should tell you, if Mary Decroux fears Peter Deacon Lawrence, or Deacon Peter Lawrence, then what kind of shit can this guy do? And then you see him slit that Mary Decroux's throat, and his blood is casted onto the Bible. And he is just relishing in this moment. And it's very creepy. And then that cuts to Stephen killing the street mime. But Stephen is wearing the shirt that the Mary Decroux that is following him is wearing. So it's almost like this premonition is showing this guy is out to get Mary Decroux. But if you get this shirt, you will have powers beyond what you have now. So and also, he's idolized the street mime, which is what inspires him to become a mime in the first place. So by removing the street mime, he thinks he can take his place in being reveled by people. But then he realizes he doesn't like people, as you see with the children, because children are making noise. He's like, I got to get rid of them. And the guy's cutting the grass, and then the guy's leaf blowing. And then he's got an old man yelling in his house. It's just people make noise. And Steven finally realizes, like, he just cannot stand people. And that's why you see him in the woods and you see him in an alleyway trying to sleep. And he's just trying to get away from noise. Now, the other Mary Decroux that's following him in this movie with the undercut. By the way, that hairstyle was inspired also by Etienne Decroux. Etienne Decroux famously had shoulder-length hair that he pushed back, and he would use pomade to keep it back. But I wanted to give a modern-day look to that hairstyle, and it was kind of hard to deny the undercut, which famously Brad Pitt wore in Fury, or Jared Leto's Joker wore, so it's one of those things. But I just thought it created a really cool aesthetic, and it really separated that Mary Decroux from Steven, our main protagonist in this movie. Now, how did that Mary Decroux get in the same world as the other Mary Decroux, which is Steven? That is explained in JJ Sundry. Like, very blatantly explained. Like, you're going to be like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing. So, this movie is tilting on the lines of science fiction. You don't really see anything that you can necessarily say, oh, that's against the laws of physics or the laws of science. But it definitely is suggested. So let's just say JJ Sundry definitely takes it up another notch or two. And so that's kind of what's going on in this movie. So imagine you get put in another world where another you exists. You're going to follow that version of you around. That's what the other Mary Decroux is doing. He is following Steven around, and he is helping him because he is more established as Mary Decroux. He's been wearing the shirt, the pants, the belt, and the shoes for a long time. So he has most of this getup that the cult has put this curse or hex on to give him these abilities. All he needs is the hat and the gloves, which is what Steven has. So it's kind of interesting. And it's also interesting that he's essentially taking care of things for Steven until Steven takes care of things for himself. So that's why in the first scene where you see Steven, he's broken into an office building and he's got the paint cans that he found in the trash can. He puts on the face paint. He's in the hallway. He trips and he falls. He screams. Well, security got called because there was noise. Security guard comes down, finds him. So that's kind of how that all gets to where the other Mary Decroux actually killed that security guard. That's kind of what we were trying to imply in that first chapter, because it goes from Steven runs back to the bathroom, grabs his paint cans, runs away, and we know the security guard went up the stairs just fine. And then it cuts to, oh, here's this other Mary Decroux riding a security bike covered in blood. And then you hear Detective Hansen getting called to that place of business because a security guard's missing and his bike was found in a nearby neighborhood. So if that's too crazy and chaotic, I understand, but we have this all on a whiteboard, which I'm going to show you guys because it's one of the earlier whiteboards. The story's changed and there's not really a lot of spoilers anymore, but we had this all on a whiteboard. It was a very linear story and it was boring. It was kind of fun for us to move some pieces around to where you almost have to watch this movie a few times. Like, we went on the Vodka stream, Dave the Film Junkies Vodka stream, and talked about this film. We sent him an early link so he could watch it, and he was really into it. And he even said on there, like, I have to watch this again. He was kind of connecting the JJ Sundry scene with the old man hallway scene. And he's like, oh, okay, I thought maybe you guys just accidentally did something, but you intentionally did that. It's like, exactly. And there's a lot of that in this movie. So, yeah, it's kind of one of those things where you got to move pieces around, but then you'll be like, oh, this is starting to make sense. Even if you didn't know that there were 3 different Mary Decroux, you can still make sense out of it in a linear fashion, which we did on purpose. So I would say the biggest question mark that we won't answer right now is the film starts with a shot of the red jacket and the beret that Steven wears through most of the movie, folded up in front of a tombstone. And our question that we base this entire story off of is Steven dead there? And then we see what happens leading up to that? Or is that somebody who was wearing that prior to Steven and he stumbles upon the graveyard and picks it up and starts wearing it prior to getting the paint cans? So it's one of those things. And we do have an answer on that, but we're not saying. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up some behind the scenes stuff. Demon, do you have anything you want to talk about?
Not right now.
No? What was your favorite scene to film in this? Because Dima did film this entire movie. Unless he was in it, which he was barely in it, so.
That's hard to say. I'd probably definitely have to say, though, when Mary's running down that little strip and the blue lights are behind him, following him. Like that
and you
whole
just kind of
sequence.
see his like silhouette in the light.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people's favorite shot.
That, and then getting locked in the back of the cruiser, trying to open the door and like run out, and just being behind Mary getting chased on by foot was definitely another really fun scene to shoot.
I was going to say, I feel like for you, that was probably the most challenging.
Yes.
Just because of all the things you had to think about while somehow keeping the lens focused on the police officer. You know, I mean, that's
because I'm pretty sure, if I'm remembering correctly, I was doing all autofocus. I don't think any of that part was
no.
Or
No,
I'm
no,
sorry,
no, no,
I
no.
think it was all manual. I don't think any of that part was auto.
And not only that, but you for any tech geeks out there, he filmed that with a nifty 50, a 50 millimeter lens, extreme, well, not extreme, but a pretty good shallow depth of field.
Yeah.
And he was controlling the focus manually while in that cruiser, while getting out and running. And I think you did it perfectly, because when you got out, you actually blur the lens, which helps with the transition looking smooth to cutting to running behind the cop. And it cuts, but you actually ended that scene by defocusing as he goes into the woods, and it gets kind of mosaic looking. And I hated having to cut that out, but I didn't want to leave too much in there to where you don't really know what's happening with. Like, I kind of wanted, like, what's happening with the cop to be a mystery. Because the next thing we see is, okay, there's woods and we hear sirens. And then all of a sudden, oh, Steven's running out of the woods. Okay, what happened to the cop? And it takes about 15 seconds before you see the flashlight pop up. But you still don't know if that cop survived or not.
Right.
That could be his backup, because there's a lot of police coming after that.
Yeah, I mean, making it blurry at the end was definitely intentional. I like that, because the way I was seeing it was like, if I make this blurry, you don't know where he's really run. Like, you see the woods, but you don't really understand like where he went. Yeah, you can kind of see the silhouette, but it's just
that's awesome. This guy.
I get it. It's not for everybody. That's okay.
No, he said you had me at demonic possession. It's a compliment.
Oh, gotcha. Yep.
Yeah.
Long day. But no, like I did that intentionally, and I really like that idea to make it go blurry, but it definitely would have made it very confusing. There was a lot of blurriness in the beginning and at the end, so it definitely made it easier to understand what happened without it.
Yeah. No, you pulled it off well. So we missed a question here. So the Joseph Santos, we're going to answer this really quick. So basically, this film is about a guy who is homeless. He has no family or any ties to the world or humanity at all, or so it seems. And he stumbles upon paint cans, and he paints his face. And then you later realize he's been following a street mime, and that's kind of what inspired him to want to do this. And this story was heavily inspired by a time in my life. I took about a year of my life where I just focused on me. I cut a lot of my friends out. I didn't date anybody. I just focused on me for like a year. and it was great. I got in the best shape of my life. I did the best I've done at any of my jobs at that time. Like I was working really hard, getting promoted, and my family life was really good too. But I still felt very alone, but in a good way. So then I thought, okay, well, what if somebody did that and it had the exact opposite effect? And that's kind of where all the things with Stephen come from, wanting absolute silence, wanting absolute disconnect from everybody and everything. And it's weird because he idolizes the street mime, and it's almost like he wants the admiration and success that the street mime is getting. Like, so maybe he's not actually comfortable in this role of being alone and not having anybody. But then he realizes that he doesn't want that. He just wants silence. And essentially, he wants to rid the world of silence. Whether or not he realizes that yet is left to be determined, but I can promise you in our next film, you will definitely get an answer on that. Because Steven's story progresses, even though the next film is based on Dima's characters, and it's heavily just a story about his character. Mary Decroux will be featured in it to an extent, and it will definitely give a follow-up on what's been happening since Mary Decroux. If you look at it as a sequel, because we are writing these movies in a way that you can watch any of them in any order, and it will all make sense. And what's really cool is, depending on what movie you start with, you'll get a different experience. So, at least if you haven't watched them all yet, like if you started with JJ Sundry and then watched Mary Decroux would be a whole different experience because you'd kind of have answers to things. But then there would be things in JJ Sundry you wouldn't have answers to unless you watch Mary Decroux first. But then you throw the third movie that we're going to make into the mix, and it's just like, holy shit. So, yeah, there's going to eventually be 3 movies that you can watch in any order, and they will all explain each other no matter how you start them. So, and yes, that has been a headache and a nightmare. We have a giant whiteboard that has had a lot of things written down on it, and that's honestly still not enough. But we do have a plan. We have a plan.
It's kind of funny when you first brought this to me. I know we've discussed this before, but like when you first brought this to me and you're trying to explain it, I was just so lost the entire time. And like even with the whiteboard, when we were trying to figure out like the best course of action for the next step for this, I was still like, I'm lost. Like my brain is hurting, and yes, the whiteboard helps. It always helps. I love the whiteboard. But it is just such a, like, trying to place it and put it together was just a challenge. Like, I've never tried to make a movie like this before, so it was definitely a challenge. It was a learning experience, but it was an absolute blast. And now seeing it all put together is like, yes, like we were able to do exactly what we wanted with this, and it turned out amazing. Very, very excited. Very
also
satisfied.
Also a great learning experience too, though, because it was the first thing like this we've ever tried to do. So basically, we've always made funny, stupid videos and TikToks, and people are like, "Oh, you guys should make a movie. You guys have a lot of talent." Blah 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 blah. Nah, like we appreciate the sentiment. We went into this completely unprepared, had no idea what we were doing. Definitely didn't have the equipment or the budget, but we still made it work. We tried our best, and I'm very proud of Mary Decroux because of that. And yeah, like I did write the story and come up with all this, but like just cutting that out, I'm proud of it because it doesn't seem like something we should have been able to do.
No.
And we still did it. And if you think about it, like it took 2 years to make this 41-minute movie.
Yeah.
And now we're making a longer movie that we're basically going to do in a short amount of time. And that's not because we're rushing it or sacrificing quality. It's because we've learned.
Yeah.
Like I have been editing as we film, whereas before it was like, let's just film everything into this freaking folder, and then I'm going to go. And it was a nightmare. Oh my gosh. Where right now, everything we've filmed for JJ Sundry so far is edited. It's stored in a separate folder. And when I need to composite it all together, and maybe cut it down or extend it or whatever, but it's ready. It's there. It's got the color grading. I've already done the sound on it. Like, it's good. So that's just one example. And I also feel like when we show up to film, we're more prepared than what we were with Mary Decroux. So it's cool that we did this because, yeah, we pulled it off, but we can also use it to learn. And the next thing we do will be better because of that.
Yeah, we kind of went into it blind before. Now we're going into it with glasses.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm excited for that. And yeah, also with the demonic possession, there is a heavy religion or religious tone in this world. So there's a lot of symbolism in Mary Decroux. There's a lot in JJ Sundry. JJ Sundry is heavily inspired by religion, but also science. And I think what's brilliant about that movie is the fact that we're finding a way to almost make both of them make sense, even though they disagree. So it's cool to find that contrast and make it work somehow. And we didn't do that intentionally. We just wanted to write a really trippy story, and not trippy like this. JJ Sundry is going to be a linear story. Like, the events will happen in order. There won't be anything for you to sit there and be like, huh? It's not going to be like Memento, although we had a whiteboard drawn out like Memento, but for different reasons. Because like I said, he's playing multiple roles in this movie. And that's all I'm going to say. But he's got one hell of a job on his hands. And yeah, can't really say much more than that. But yeah, so really excited for JJ Sundry because it's going to be a bigger movie, more story, way more dialogue, because obviously this movie is about a mime. So it's more music driven, where JJ Sundry's got a lot of story to tell. And basically it's also got to explain some things that happen in this film. So it's got Mary Decroux on its back while it's trying to do its own adventure. And yeah, so it's a beast, and I'm excited about it.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be probably, as of right now, the most challenging thing I have done when it comes to acting.
Oh, absolutely. I went into this wanting to challenge you because
I'm excited.
You're a trained actor, you get these gigs and all that, but I wanted you to like have your magnum opus of acting.
Yes,
you know,
absolutely.
Like, oh, here, Dima, here's this, and you're reading about one character, and you're like, oh, cool, I can do that. All right, well, here's 13 more. There's not really that many characters that he has to play, but there's a decent amount. So, all right, we'll go ahead and start showing some behind the scenes stuff here. I can't remember what all I added into this because there is a lot of stuff that we cut out or decided not to use. There's also just some behind the scenes stuff. I don't want to start with that yet. We'll save that for last. So going into Mary Decroux, the first thing I wanted to tackle was, what is Mary Decroux going to look like? I did a lot of study on my own with different things because, you have a guy that's homeless and essentially has no money, no dwelling, no place he lives. He's just out on the streets or trying to find places he can break into and find warmth or shelter as long as he can. So, like, what would somebody like that come across? Well, the first thing I thought of, because I'm looking around my house, is shaving cream. So right here is an example of shaving cream being used as the white face paint. And I actually had to, I don't remember how I did this, but I used a marker and I think I like squeezed the end of the ink into the shaving cream to get that dark accent. And I just had one over the mouth and one running down the eye. So I knew early on I was going to have the one eye with the black running down, which is inspired from Mary Decroux or Etienne Decroux's face paint. So this is one example of an early, and you'll also notice in this one and the next one, I'm actually wearing a vest like you would see on a 3-piece suit and a tie because I knew I wanted Steven to be wearing something different and business casual or half a suit, like he found pieces of a suit or something is the first thing that stuck to my mind. And so this is another example. So this one I actually did use face paint. And I also had the beginnings of what would turn into the undercut. And this versus this, I would say this would have been Steven, and this would have been the other Mary Decroux that follows him. And as you can see, vest, tie, white t-shirt. I thought that combination would be interesting because it's like maybe I just had a t-shirt and then I found a vest and tie, and then you can see there's actually paint on the vest, because I thought, it would be a messy process if you're using paint that you find in a can. But I ended up not liking this because, for one, I think it looks too Joker-esque, which if you're a fan of something all your life, it's really hard not to draw inspiration from it. So I had to really challenge myself. So, and there's another close-up picture of me with that face paint. You can really tell, it's almost like Heath Ledger Joker eyes. But you can see the elongated side of the mouth. I kept that. So it's like, in one aspect, I kept the eye running down, and the other one, I kept the elongated mouth. And then this is one of two of the first pictures that Dimitri took of me in full getup. I love this picture. Now, I am standing in front of a black curtain. We just have one softbox light to create that dramatic shadow. And then this one is without the coat, and it's monochromatic. Also a beautiful shot. There was just something about the character looking down I thought was cool. And also symbolic, because if you think about it, the movie starts with, a tombstone, and you see this coat and the beret. And it's almost like if you're not dead, you're alive. And if you're alive, there's always sound. So it's almost like Steven has this fixation on the ground and being under it. And I decided not to play into that too much in the movie because I don't think his evolution would be that fast. He still is wanting to live and trying to change the environment around him without changing his situation. So that's for a later take on Steven. Now, this is the first screen test that we shot. And the whole idea with this is, what would this character look like entering a business or a home? And we wanted to kind of mess with what all do we want to show or not show. And so you can tell when you watch this that we decided to cut a lot of things out. There's a lot of detail in this. So walking, coming to a window. I do love that though.
Mm-hmm.
Hand on the doorknob, door opening. See, it's like a whole sequence. That was the first thing we shot with me in costume. So yeah, originally I thought it'd be really cool to kind of build up to a full reveal of Mary Decroux. You see the feet, you just see half his body, you see a dark version of his face with a blurry window, the hand, and then blurry, dark silhouette. And the next shot would be like, boom, he's in your home. Decided it was just better if he just appears in the home, because it's like, whoa, how did you get here? It just adds to the eeriness. We did some costume tests, and I got a few photos that are my favorite I was going to share. So this is like Steven, homeless on the streets, very similar to what you see in the beginning of the movie, the prologue, if you will. He's just walking around. And that's me after coming across. And you notice I got that yellow shirt that the other Mary Decroux wears. I'm telling you, if you pay attention to the attire in the movie, it's very important. It tells you what's going on and who's who and what's what. That's obviously me when I'm kind of trying to learn how to become a mime in the hallway. Also have this attire when I'm in the dumpster, which precedes that whole sequence. And then this is almost full attire Mary Decroux. The only thing that's missing is the red cummerbund. But you got the beret, the shirt, the gloves, the pants, and the shoes. So I thought that was a cool shot that he took. I can't tell what this is. Oh, that was a selfie I took in costume. Look at that. Now, Dima took this picture. It is one of the earliest pictures I have, and I think it's really cool. I haven't edited it at all. It's just a really cool shot. You'll know what scene it's from. So the natural lighting in that scene was a blue light in the hallway, and the wall is in focus, and I'm blurred in the background. I just thought this shot was so cool when I came across this. I was like, I have to share that. This is a picture I took of Grant as the street mime, and I just thought it was a really cool picture. This is countering the shot of him looking out the window at Steven standing across the street staring at him in his house, which is basically where Steven decides, you know what? I'm going to be in there one day and I'm going to kill you. And it happens. But yeah, I really like that shot. Now, this right here, it's supposed to be a video, but it's not going to play because technology sucks sometimes. But this is Dima playing the old man in the hallway. And as you can see, he is using a golf putter as the cane, which you cannot tell because of the way we set up the camera. So I just thought it was funny to see how down bad we actually are on a budget. We can't even get a cane.
Forgot that's what we used for a cane.
Can't even get a fucking cane. Now, I think this is a cool look into our process. So this is the scene where he's the security guard. I'm in the hallway. I've just put on the face paint for the first time. I'm getting up off the floor because I screamed and I'm mad at myself. You hear his radio. He's coming down the steps. Well, that whole sequence happens when we did this. But basically, this is a part of our process. So Dima does film the entire movie, except for the scenes that he's in. But sometimes I have an idea, and I think the best way to tell him, because I suck with words, is just to do it myself. And he's really good at like knowing exactly what I did, and I don't have to explain it to him. I just got to show him. So this is where I stand up, I hear the security guard coming, and I look at the camera, and I had this idea for it being blurry. When I look, it cuts to focus. Look at that beard. But, you know, that was a one and done. I did this. I handed you the camera. You fucking nailed it. And I just think that's really cool that we have that dynamic where I don't have to say anything. Hey, like, you're just staying here, Deem. I'm going to do this really quick. All right, here, I need you to do this. And you just do it. Yeah. Not to mention yours looked a lot better. So there was that. Now, here's Dima as the homeless guy that dies. I thought the costume design here was amazing. Yeah. You look absolutely homeless. And the background definitely helps, but yeah, you look incredibly homeless. You look like you would use a golf putter in a movie as a kid. Right. Now, I took this selfie. There's you in the background right before what I think is probably my favorite scene in the movie, which is where I mime you dying. There was something about the all white face paint. It was like I had the eyebrows, you know, on the one face paint, and I do the stuff in the hallway, and then I go and watch the street mime, and it's like, I don't like that. I don't know. I just thought it was cool to have a period where, you know what, I just have white face paint. I don't know what I'm doing yet. I'm still kind of transforming. So yeah, I took that picture because I really liked how the white face paint looked. There is Renrir Ulfenslayer, and I just thought this picture was really cool. I don't think we've shared this anywhere yet, so this would be a first look. But yeah, I just think this character is cool. I love the imagery here. Yeah, you're just looking to the gods. There's the whiteboard. And this is a earlier version of the storyline, so yeah, you can get your magnifying glass out, but you're not going to see anything that's going to answer any of your questions now. So, but I just want you guys to understand, we have a giant whiteboard, and I think the last timeline, I do have a picture of that, but it goes from this side to this side. There's notes up here. There's notes down here. It's full. So this was nothing compared to what it turned into. But yeah, that's our whiteboard. And then these shots were actually taken by Ryan Madden, and I think it's really cool that he got these because it's kind of showing how I mean, I'm laughing right here. I'm full Mary Decroux, and you're showing me what you just filmed. And if I remember correctly, I think we're laughing about the guitar because this is where we were filming the guitar falling and me stomping on it, and Ryan was nervous as fuck because
I
his
was
guitar is
scared.
very expensive. Yeah, I was too. I was like, why'd you bring a nice guitar? Like, I mean, it looked great in the movie, but appreciate the fact that he's willing to sacrifice it. But yeah, so he got a cool behind the scenes shot there and right here. And you can see he actually posted this on his Snapchat. He put a little. So Ryan Madden's my dude. He's always supportive of everything we do, even if we don't include him in it. And I just really appreciate him. So big shout out to Ryan.
Yes.
And really looking forward to working with you some more on our movies. Now, I took this selfie before filming the scene in the room with the guitarist while waiting outside. I've never shared this, but it is like the most HD thing of Mary Decroux that I have.
Holy shit.
Isn't that crazy?
That is.
Good old iPhones, man. And then I also took this picture of Ryan with his guitar.
That's one of my favorite pictures.
It's a beautiful guitar.
Mhm.
But yeah, I love this picture. So I actually have a version of this that has the Mary Decroux up here, and it said like the date at the bottom that we were releasing it and everything. I kind of thought it'd be cool to have it as a poster and maybe give it to him or something. I don't know. If he watches this, he'll get spoiled. Now, I got a funny story behind this picture, and there's a reason I took it. So, as you can see right here, I have the undercut, which this was a commitment, guys. All right. My hair is always very normal and plain. This was one hell of a commitment. And also, I did this, I think it was like 2 months before my wedding. So, I had to knock out any filming we needed with this haircut before our wedding. And even though you don't see a lot of this character in the movie, we did film a lot more than what is shown. And it's hard for us to all have availability to film. So like this day specifically, we needed 4 people total because Grant did do some of the filming in this sequence. So we had 4 people total. And, when you're all adults and you all have separate lives, it's hard to get everybody free, even for the smallest amount of time. So we didn't get it done in time for my wedding. So I had to get my hair cut for the wedding. And this is actually a shirt I got on the cruise after our wedding. It was our honeymoon. Well, part 1 of our honeymoon. But anyways, came back home, had to start filming. So I thought it'd be funny to wear the shirt to remind me of like, oh yeah, that's what was going on. I had to mash this little short hair back with the most pomade I've ever put on my head to make it look like it was this. And it was terrible, but the way we filmed the scenes that we did the rest of this for, it wasn't noticeable. So, and you know what's surprising, Dima? It's the scene where I'm across from Steven hanging from the ceiling. So that's the day you and Jordan were over filming. This is when I was in the bathroom preparing for that. And I was just like, dude, my hair is still way too fucking short for this. Like, I'm pretty sure we had been back from that cruise for maybe a week. And it was just like back to filming. And I'm like, my hair is not even close to ready, but okay. So anyways, just thought it was funny to, I don't know. And this is just funny too. It's like, if I was like a method actor, like I went on our honeymoon cruise like this. Yeah. Like I'll get the haircut, but I'll play some fucking bingo, but do what?
The paint stays during bingo.
Yeah, it stays. I'm committed to my wedding photos. Now this is funny. So in the premonition, Deacon Peter Lawrence slits Mary Decroux's throat. This is how we filmed that. So I had a Sharpie line drawn on my throat, and then I'm dribbling the blood down my chin. People, it doesn't get more low budget than this.
That was really difficult to film.
Oh yeah, and when you watch the movie, the way it's edited, you can't tell that's what's going on. It looks like I get my throat cut open, and there's just blood running down from this line. But yeah, so let's go ahead and play that again. Yep, that's how that was done. And that blood tastes weird. If you get any of that in your mouth, it isn't sweet. It smells like it would be sweet, but it's not. It's weird.
I thought the capsules were sweet.
The capsules are
Okay.
that's the stuff that comes out of the jug.
Okay, gotcha.
And it's just called Hollywood Blood. I got it off Amazon.
Hmm.
Now, this is one of my favorite shots in the movie. I even commented on it when we were watching it. But I think it's funny to see what we were in the middle of to film this.
I forgot it was during that.
Oh, you're gonna see in a second. Because I use up to this part, right? So this none of this is in the film, but you wanted to get another side. You hear me? I was like, let me know when you think it's good, sir. So this is actually cool because that looks really good too. But yeah, right there in the mushy center of the transition of sides, you see we were having a nice family fire. We got our whole group standing over here. And Kyle just had to be like, wait, this would be great for the movie. You guys, especially my wife, shout out to her. This has been her life for the past couple of years. I view everything as an opportunity. We had a scene like this in the script, and I was like, hey, why not just do it now? So I put on the gear and the face paint, and everyone participated. They're actually all featured in the movie because when Detective Ayer is investigating the crime scene that follows me, it would follow me being at the fire at this time. He kind of gets these visions of the children running around the fire and the people sitting in the lawn chairs. And it's kind of insinuated that I murdered all of them. So, or at least some of them, and maybe some of them ran away and called the police. But either way, I just thought that was kind of cool. So, yep, there's that. And then this won't play again because technology sucks. But this is actually a video I took and I sent to somebody on Snapchat. But I'm in Dima's car right now. I'm in the passenger seat. And the camera would have panned over to Dima, who's going to drive. We went to film locations like this. So imagine pulling up next to a car on a normal day and you see me dressed like this. Not only that, Dima is totally unfazed by it. Like, he's just like, yeah, we're filming. And I just thought it was funny when I came across this because we went to a lot of places with me dressed up like this. So I don't know. I just think it's funny. And I just wonder if people like call 911 or
or at least dude looking like a clown just chilling in a car.
Yeah, or at least documented it and sent it to their friends. Like, look at this fucking asswipe. I'm gonna save that picture for last, but this is really cool because I actually put this in the movie. This was Cody doing a test run. So he used the iPhone 14 to film me as Steven coming up behind him and killing him. So he was kind of figuring out how to set up the camera on his windshield. So that's how that ending shot was done. And that was all him figuring it out, which I think is cool because he's the reason I make movies. He is who inspired me to make motion picture in general from cool edits that he used to make. So that was cool that he got to set up a camera shot for the movie. And then, dude, technology sucks. So let me see if I can share this because I actually really want to share this. 1 second, Dima. I'll try to. I feel like there's a way to share these cell phone videos. I just have to like open it in a new window. Yeah. Cool. That's what I have to do. All right. So this was the shot of Detective Ayer running from his car, and you see the sky and him running over it. It's one of the coolest shots in the movie, I think. And all three of us came up with this that day. Because you see him run by. So like I'm kind of doing a test run right here, but the hand is supposed to be in the center of the shot with the gun, which it is in the movie. So I just thought it was cool to show, like, there's him standing there. Here's me laying the iPhone on the driveway, and that's how we filmed it. I'm telling you guys, low budget movie. All right, now, got to get back to the other window because there's still more to share. Oh, I closed it.
Hmm.
Bear with me. Fret not, Dima. Okay. Jeez. Technology. Oh, now we're to the fun stuff. So this is the full Mary Decroux getup. You've got the beret, the shirt, the gloves, the cummerbund, the pants, and the shoes, all on the mannequin where the cult does their stuff, their ritual. And this is with lighting, obviously still pre-editing. But I thought it was cool to kind of capture how I had to do this by myself. So this is with a fog machine. I've got 3 different LED lights. Over here, there is a softbox. And that's how I filmed that.
Damn.
Yeah. And then this is the farmer as
Lumberjack.
as D. Joseph Santos called him. You got a mime eating a farmer. But yeah, or lumberjack. Yeah, thank you, lumberjack. But yeah, I just kind of made a person out of my clothes, and that's how I filmed that. So, and then the last thing I was gonna show, because I could show it now. I mean, how long have I had this picture? Over a year.
Yeah.
I've been sitting on this, but I remember, we filmed this. You guys probably thought it was fucking crazy because essentially, I am both these people. So we had a standing camera that couldn't move for over 30 minutes because we had to film me doing this, which took a couple of tries to get down because I'm standing on a chair, so I had to make it look like I was swinging by the neck, and it's really hard to mimic that motion. And you got to make your legs look like they're dangling, which is tough. So had to do that. And then I had to run to the bathroom, and this is that short hair I was, telling you guys that I had, which you can kind of tell right there. It's not quite hitting the back of my dome. But I had to go and that's the other thing. I changed my face paint because I don't know if I've mentioned this, but this Mary Decroux, the accent on the mouth and the teardrop are reversed on him. So it's like a yin and yang. Like Steven has it on one side, he has it on the other. So I had to redo my face paint. I had to completely change and then come out here, and we just had a red coat hanging here by itself. And then I filmed this entire sequence in one camera shot. I actually think it was over 40 minutes when it was just the raw file. I think it was like 43 minutes. But yeah, I knew you and Jordan just thought I was like fucking crazy that day. And I remember there is a video somewhere of like the rope is just hanging while I'm changing into this. And Jordan goes over and puts it on his neck and he took a selfie.
Yeah.
I don't know if you forgot the camera was rolling, but it was just funny I had that video. But either way, I remember when I composited this together just to show you guys, like, hey, this is how it's going to look in the movie. And Cody was like, that's really disturbing. And I was like, yes, that is what I want.
His initial reactions to all this whole thing was absolutely phenomenal.
I've said it so many times. I wish we had like a GoPro aimed at Cody during our screening party.
Yes.
Because I mean, I love everyone's reaction, but his were definitely the best.
Priceless.
So yeah. But yeah, this picture is really cool. I think it would make a cool poster as well.
Yes.
Just no text, just poster. Like if you can't look at this and know it's Mary Decroux, I have failed.
Yes. So that rope still hanging in my basement, just tucked in the ceiling.
That's great. That's fucking great.
I see it and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get that later, and then I don't, and I forget about it until I see it again. I'm like, yeah, that's there.
Now that I figured out how to play videos that weren't playing, I actually want to screen share the one of you in the car. So, plus I'm done sharing this stuff. All right. I'm learning as I go. Share screen, window. All right. Now, so yeah, imagine you pull up next to a car. You got normal Dima, and you got me. I don't know. I just think that's funny. I'm glad I took that video because that's one of many instances. You know, we live in Cincinnati, Ohio, and we filmed a lot in Hamilton, like the city of Hamilton and Middletown, like really rough, dirty places too. Like, and that was intentional. We wanted it because we have this whole fictional city we've always created things in called Borough City. It just sounds
rough.
rough, yeah. And I wanted it to look like that, you know. And one of my favorite shots is in the prologue where I'm standing on the hill, just kind of overlooking the cityscape and the sun's setting or whatever. That's such a cool shot, but it's like that's the only way to be away from it is just being above it.
Yeah.
So that's cool. But yeah, so that was all the behind the scenes stuff that I have. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else I really wanted to talk about with this film. I gotta say, writing the music, you know, being a musician my whole life, I've been a musician longer than I've been anything. My dad was a drummer. I started drumming when I was like 8, 9 years old. I did it all through school. I was in drumline. I did stage band. I've been in several bands. I've been in a band that was kind of successful. Like I've done it all, you know, and I've never done my own thing. I've always tried. And like I said, I struggle as an artist being confident in my art, no matter what it is. But music is the biggest battle. So for me to not only finish one musical thing, but a whole compilation of music that I made and think it's ready to be put into a movie is really gratifying for me. It felt like quite an achievement. And I'm proud of myself because even now I listen to the songs and I'm like, oh, I could have done this, you know, but like, I'm still okay with it.
Yeah.
I am like, I have no problem with all the music in this movie. It did its job. It did what I wanted it to. Some of it I'm definitely a bigger fan of than other things, but it's because I just knew that for certain parts of this movie, I needed to make something that wasn't necessarily my cup of tea, but it would fit the scene very well. So like that hallway scene, that's my jam. The song I use there, Transcendence is what I titled it. I had just watched Warriors, which is one of my favorite movies. And there's a lot of that like electronic, I don't even know what you would call it, like almost atmospherical sounding, like these soundscapes. I don't know, like they're using synthesizers throughout the whole movie and they create this music that's just kind of eerie and uncomfortable, but sometimes it sounds beautiful. And I think that blend is really cool. So the music in Warriors really inspired that track that I use over that scene. And it's definitely one of my favorites on the soundtrack. By the way, the whole soundtrack is on YouTube. It's on our channel. It's got its own playlist. You can just listen to everything without touching a button. You play the first song and it'll play through the entire soundtrack. So check that out. The intro, which we highlighted, is different from everything else because we use accordion, brass. It's got that classic French mime feel. That is the last track on there. So if you're just wanting to listen to that, because it is very bright and happy and definitely contrasts the rest of the movie, it is the last track on there. So you can go check that out. But the whole soundtrack's cool. I don't know. I dig it. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else. You got anything?
Not really. I mean, definitely, if you're a fan of this movie, watch it a few different times. I mean, Dave, Film Junkie, said perfect that he's going to have to watch it 3-4 times or, you know, to really fully try to understand it. And even then, I feel like it's not enough. Like, if you watch it once, you're going to miss things. If you watch it twice, you're still going to miss things. And you might get some of it if you watch it 3 times. So if you're a fan of the movie, we definitely appreciate it. We appreciate all the feedback. Like we said earlier, good, bad, or the ugly. We appreciate all the feedback. This film is obviously the first one that we put out. And we couldn't be more excited about it. We're very excited about JJ Sundry. You know, it's just one of those things that it's hard to believe that it's like actually out there now, and it's very surreal, very exciting again for us. So just check it out.
Oh, you mean Mary Decroux?
Mary Decroux, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I that is a big thing. You know, we planned on releasing this essentially a year ago, and then we realized we were way in over our heads. Again, we had to learn how to do this properly. But then we had a release date for earlier this year. We went on Film Junkie. The guys on there pretty much convinced us we should be entering film festivals. We entered one because it was close to home. I know it's lazy of us, probably missing some opportunities, but it was in the state directly next to us. So it was like, yeah, we could pull that off. And we were definitely a final consideration. They told us no at the very end.
The last day.
And there were projects that I can confirm found out way before we did. So that was cool. It had us on our toes. Like, oh man, we might actually be featured in this. At the end of the day, we weren't, and that's fine. I'm sure there's a lot of things out there that just look and sound better than this film. Yeah. Again, no budget. We didn't have the right technology. It is what it is. Still proud of it. But with that being said, we had to wait months before they gave us an answer. Like literally last month, they gave us an answer finally. And we submitted that back in April?
Yeah. Yeah. So, something like that.
Yeah. It took forever. And it sucked because we just wanted this to be available for people to watch. That's the whole reason we made it. So I was kind of like regretting submitting it to the film festival. But I'm so glad we did it because it would have been a cool. Yeah, it is cool that we hung in there till the end, and it would have been cool, cool experience for sure. Yeah. So, and I'm not gonna lie, I feel like JJ Sundry is gonna be, just a better movie in general. It's gonna be more audience friendly, and it's gonna be a full length movie. I think right now I'm tracking at maybe an hour and 40 minutes with it, so it's gonna be a movie, and I think it would probably do better in a film festival, possibly. So but that's for us to decide on later. Something I did want to share because I mentioned it earlier and I didn't touch back on it. 1 second here. There we go. So Etienne Decroux, the father of mime, as he is known. All I can say is just YouTube him miming, preferably an older video where he actually wore the mime getup. It's freaky, sometimes disturbing, but it's art, and it's not difficult to appreciate it. It really isn't. I mean, I've never been into mimes or anything, but when I was doing research for this movie, I found myself watching a lot of his older clips. Now, as you can tell in this image right here, you can see the eyebrows. This really inspired the first look you see with Steven when he's in the dumpster and then he's practicing miming in the hallway. You've got the eyebrows, faint black eye makeup. I don't know, I thought it was cool, and it kind of symbolizes that I was still trying to resemble a person having a distinctive feature like an eyebrow, whereas the ending result of what I'm painting on my face just looks like horror. And the cool thing about that is, I'm trying to find the picture. So this is what we use in the title sequence, but you can actually see, let me see if there's a way to, you can see the eye comes down. And I thought it'd be cool to have just one eye coming down to kind of pay homage to him. And then I thought it would be cool to have on the reverse side the accent on the mouth. There was just something about that I thought was really unique. Kind of referencing to my early makeup tests, where I was using the shaving cream and experimenting with all that. So that's where that all came from. Also, he wore the classic mime shirt. That's a funny story we can tell. So we had the script, we had the makeup, we had our whiteboard, we had set locations figured out. The only thing we didn't have figured out was costumes. And I have this idea in my head that I wanted to go to a thrift store and just find really saturated colored clothing that you might see people wearing like the 90s, late 80s, 90s. So we went to a local thrift store. We were in there for probably an hour. Basically found the entire getup in there, from this hat, which actually kind of resembles a beret if you wear it properly, but it's really like almost like a conductor's hat. It's very unique. It has like this Civil War-esque buttons on the side with the little rope that goes across the bill. I don't know if you can see that on there, but yeah, so it was a very unique hat. And this was just hanging up amongst hats at the thrift store.
Naturally.
And I don't know what was going through your mind, Dima, but I'm in there with this vision in my head. I don't know how to tell Dima what it is. Because he's probably thinking like, we had recently seen the Joker. So he's probably thinking like, oh, okay, colorful stuff like that, maybe.
Yeah.
But I'm over here like, nah, like I want to find like a purple and green windbreaker and shit. Like I had crazy things going on in my head. Well, came across the red coat with the blue in it. And I was like, oh, this is it. And I don't know. I feel like you were just like, what the fuck? Like, I'm just finding random shit. Found the coat. Found some of the shirts, like the yellow button up, the gray polo, the gray and black lined shirt. That's pretty close to being a mimes shirt. That's pretty much what we use it for. But yeah, we found all of that in there. Now the shoes, there's a side story of that, but essentially a band I used to be in, we were in a Battle of the Bands competition, and there were rules with it to where they didn't want us playing any shows prior to it within a certain amount of time because they want us to sell tickets. So obviously if we're playing other shows prior to that, people have seen us recently. They might not buy the tickets for that specific show. So we created an alias for our band and we dressed completely differently so that we didn't even look like ourselves. So if places or people posted pictures of us, the company running the Battle of the Bands that we were in wouldn't know that we played a show. So we were able to tell people like, hey, it's us, but we're under this new alias right now. It's just temporary. And we went to a thrift store and literally got random shit that we thought kind of made us look like some funky hipster band. And I came across those shoes and I was just like, those are it. And they're very thin and flat and they were easy to drum in. So it kind of worked out because I usually drummed the barefooted. So I was like, okay, I gotta wear some shoes. Might as well find something thin. So yeah, that's the story behind those shoes. I don't even think I've told you that. Yeah, but they got worn for one show and I kept them. There was a whole getup I bought and I threw the rest of it away, but for whatever reason, I kept those shoes. And I just think it's funny because they work so well with the costume now. So it's interesting. But yeah, so the costume design was basically us going to a thrift store, and that's like I made a joke on the vodka stream about our budget. Said it was like $127 or whatever. Most of it was spent in a thrift store buying clothes.
Yeah.
And then the rest was buying the makeup and fake blood off Amazon. And I think I bought an extra or two extra LED lights.
Okay.
And that's it.
Damn.
Yeah, it was literally around $127. So that's our budget.
Very low budget.
It's terrible. Again, got a golf putter for a cane. I mean, we're down bad. So yeah, now we're going to tell you guys how you can donate money to us. No, I'm just kidding. But I got to say, it was a lot of fun making this film. It took forever. There was a lot of frustrations, or a lot of times it felt like we probably weren't going to get it done, which is even more frustrating. So like he said, just kind of reiterating, it's really cool that it's just out there now. And we can tell people like, hey, me and my buddies made a movie. Go check it out. It's on YouTube. It's kind of weird. Might not be your thing, but it's there. And I don't know. I'm really excited just to kind of see what kind of feedback we get from people. I just saw all of your private chats. That's funny as hell. No, I didn't message Dave.
Gotcha.
I was thinking about it because it would have been cool to have him on here and talk about some things I don't really want to share unless he's on here. But yeah, Dave, the film junkie, is a friend of ours. We've been on his stream a couple of times. He's a really good dude. He reaches out often, checks in on us, shares our stuff. We were going to invite him on, but he does his vodka stream every Friday night. And, when we go on, because we live on this part of the United States. He was in California. We're up until like 3 or 4 in the morning. So he's up until at least 2 doing the stream. And then he gets off the stream and has to do whatever he has to do to go to bed. So I just imagine the dude's probably not feeling it on Saturday. And he's probably either out trying to have a life or he's just watching movies and chilling at his home. But either way, I'm like, I didn't want to bother him. So that's why I ultimately decided just to leave him be. Because I felt like if I invited him, he'd feel like he'd need to come in to be a good friend. I didn't want to do. I'm like, it doesn't matter. I'd like to have him on a future stream about other stuff. So
yeah.
But it's so hard not to like just dive into this whole world. I feel like when I was trying to explain Married to Crow earlier with like the cult and everything, there's things that would make it all make so much more sense, but it's like you got to see JJ Sundry, like you got to watch the next movie. Like I hate saying that because it's like, oh, okay, you're not really answering what's going on, but it's like I can only say
give
so
us
much.
a year.
Yeah, and it'll be worth it. I, like another thing I've learned is how to make a trailer.
Mm-hmm.
I was very proud of the last trailer I put together.
Yeah,
I've made 3 total. My first one was terrible. My second one was okay. I wasn't the biggest fan, although people seemed to like it. Like when we went on the Vodka stream, that was the most recent trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And they were all talking about how they were like, yeah, okay, this is my bag. I think I could dig this. But it wasn't what I envisioned for Married to Crow. Right. And this last trailer I made, it's sweet and short to the point, and it's dark, and it makes it feel like a horror movie, which is what I was wanting. So, yeah, love that. And I think with JJ Sundry, I'll be able to cut a trailer better the first time versus this last go. So, yeah, I'm just really excited for a whole new movie and starting fresh, essentially.
Yeah.
So, and I guess I've kind of spoiled it. But, I've been talking on Saturday episodes about how I've been cutting weight. It's because I have to be Married to Crow again, which we initially weren't planning on, because even though this is in the same world, I thought we had some stock footage of me that we could just sprinkle in there and be like, oh, okay, it's all connected. But nah, I'm playing a little bit of a bigger part in the movie than I anticipated. So
you cannot just be behind the camera.
And Steven doesn't really eat, like he starts off eating some fries out of a dumpster, but then that's about it. And then he's like tearing ligaments out of somebody's neck at the end. And it's like, okay, there's no nutritional value there. We're fucked. I have to weigh 100 pounds. No, but it's gonna be bad.
Went from Smeagol to Gollum real quick.
Well, shit, I'm already down 12 pounds almost.
Oh wow,
I'm getting there. It's on the cusp of being 12. It bounces depending on where I'm at in the day, but in the morning it's about 12 pounds.
And they say that's when it's most accurate. So
yeah, but it's gonna be a rough road, because that's like almost a month and a half of effort.
Yeah,
it's a good thing we don't have a rush on finishing this movie.
Yes.
So. But anyway, so yeah, Married to Crow will definitely be featured in the next movie, but definitely a background character. So I'm excited for that. And I'm excited just to show off your acting abilities. Far more to you than being a background person on wrestling. I almost put some of the pictures and video from that night on here just to, it's funny.
Dude, that was wild. That was a blast.
For those of you, the whole story is crazy. Because we had tickets to go to Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown in that week because both were in Ohio. One was in Columbus, the other one was in Cincinnati. Cincinnati was Friday Night SmackDown. You're with an acting agency. You get called up to play this part to the show I'm already going to, but you found out at my house why we were beginning to film JJ Sundry.
Yes.
It's crazy how that all works.
Yeah.
And we were just like, what? Like, you're going to be on TV? You're going to be at SmackDown when I'm there for the first time live in person? Like, it was crazy. Like, I remember looking up on the Titantron, and I'm like, there's Dima. Like, I was shouting your name in the crowd. It was funny as hell. Like, people are like, who the fuck is Dima?
Yeah, that was a really cool experience. Shout out to Cody Rhodes for being an absolute
Oh yeah, I'm
Like,
just gonna
just
do
a
some
great guy.
just gonna do some name drops right
Just
now.
casually.
The Miz,
Yeah.
Randy Orton, yeah,
Shook his hand,
whatever. Fucking douchebag.
Nothing major.
I think you met Tiffany Stratton, Tori Wilson. What were some other ones that you described? And then I saw you with, and I was like, that bastard. There was another. Oh, did you meet Triple H? Bald guy with a beard.
Can't remember.
Okay. You definitely met Nick Aldis. He's the general manager for SmackDown.
Yeah.
That's a big deal too.
Yes.
But
he was a really cool guy too.
The fact that you shook Cody Rhodes, like the current WWE World Heavyweight Champion, you shook his hand and met him, and you just described him as like a blonde guy with a belt. I was like, dude, get the fuck out of here. For those of you who don't know, I'm a huge wrestling fan, and this guy just walks backstage, doesn't know who any of these people are. He was literally hanging out in the rec room with all the wrestlers. Yeah. No big deal. But see, you're what they want. They don't want somebody like me because I would have been kicked out. Your story with Randy Orton's funny as hell though, because you didn't even know that's who it was.
Oh yeah.
But I guess basically you tried to compliment his tattoos and he told you to fuck off or something.
Not really. He just like looked at me and was like, "Thanks." And I was like, "Oh."
Oh, but you said his look implied fuck off.
Yeah. It was kind of awkward, but.
Oh God. You've got to be kidding me. You know who this is?
Yeah.
It's a masterpiece. Damn you.
Yes, it is.
But no, so yeah, I'm a huge wrestling fan, and that shows my commitment to what we're doing right now because there is actually a pay-per-view on right now that I'm missing.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I got the CM Punk wrestle. That's all I really care about, but the main event's supposed to be cool, so I'll have to rewatch it tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but anyways, well, now that I guess we should see if any of the guys would get on here and talk really quick. I forgot about that.
Oh,
yeah. Like, well,
it's all about Dima.
I guess we can ask this guy right here.
You just say it's a musical, but you liked it. It wasn't a musical.
It wasn't dude. He really. Let's get it. We need to get him on here.
So, yes, we did. So,
Jordan, will you come on the stream?
Yes, please. Real quick about that. I talked to my coworker that saw it yesterday, and he liked it. He agreed with what we said about in the car. I don't want to say too much. Thank you, finally, Jordan. But he was agreeing with everything that, because I told him like what we discussed in the car a little bit, and he was like, yeah, I agree. So that was really cool. He really enjoyed it too. So Jordan, you're kind of just like, you know.
All right, Jordan, I'm sending the link in the movie chat so all you fucks can have it. All right. Well, I almost forgot we wanted to do that. I was about to wrap this up, and I'm like, shit, we haven't even talked to the people who are in this movie yet. We suck at this. We shouldn't do a podcast anymore.
No, it was great. It was a great time.
It's fucking 10 o'clock on a Saturday night. Let's fucking go.
Hey, I'm off tomorrow. I'm all right.
Hey, me too. I'm always off on the weekend.
Yeah, not me. Can't relate.
Yeah, I know. It's all right. You guys are real men.
Yeah. I'm
Come on, Jordan. Get your ass in here. See, he's going to want to get in here and just talk about Joker. And that sucks because, you know, a lot of people thought we were trying to make a movie like Joker when we first posted about this movie.
Stupid.
And it's like, it's nothing like Joker. Like, literally nothing like Joker. And I think it's funny we picked this weekend to release it because we weren't even considering that it was the Joker release weekend.
No,
we just wanted to release it the first weekend of October.
Yes.
Because we want this to be kind of like a Halloween thing, you know? And yeah, so it's just funny we have this connection with Joker, even though we don't want to.
Literally.
Todd Phillips, The Joker, it's one of my top 10 favorite movies. So don't get me wrong. Love it. I think it is a masterpiece. We saw the sequel, me, Dima, Jordan, and Cody.
Yep.
Them two left the movie a little over an hour in, and they weren't alone. We had some other people in the theater leave. we didn't have that many in the theater to begin with. So, and that sounds like it's been a common thing. So I get that Deem and I are a minority.
There we go.
I had a Dema moment.
Love that.
No, but is he in here?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Right. Yeah.
All right, so everyone, this is Jordan, the Dark Lord.
Hello.
Oh my God.
Are you in a cocoon in your bed right now?
100%.
Can you just admit that it was a musical, but you liked it?
It was not a musical, and I did enjoy it.
It literally, if you look it up, it says it is classified as an unconventional musical.
You know why that is? A conventional musical, which is a musical, when they go into a musical segment, everybody on screen starts dancing and singing background.
Well, that's like saying
that doesn't happen one time in this movie.
Well, that's like saying, oh, he has AIDS, but it's unconventional AIDS.
No, not at all.
Oh my gosh. I knew this was going to happen. All right, well look.
Oh,
I'll give you this, Jordan. There is more musical element in it than what I wanted, but none of it bothered me. I actually really appreciated it because I could see all of those segments happening in the first movie. We just didn't see them. It's all happening in Arthur's head. None of it really happens.
But like when did
it adds to the eeriness. Like one of them, he shoots his fucking brains out.
But when did he turn into a musician?
Do you not remember him dancing in the first movie?
Yeah, I mean he dances, but like when did he turn into
well, that's what the real world sees, and now we're seeing what's happening in his fucking head.
But in any other portrayal of the Joker throughout history, has he ever been like a singing like weirdo?
You can't compare it to the other
No,
Joker,
and
it's its own Joker thing. He even said
he's not even the real Joker, and you would have found that out if he stuck around for the fucking movie.
Yeah, Jordan.
Son of a bitch. Now, look, Jordan, I will give you what you want. It is more of a musical than what I wanted it to be. I am not a fan of musicals. I actually hate musicals. I don't enjoy them. But it didn't bother me. It really didn't. I was enjoying the movie. The only thing that was annoying me was you leaning over like, oh, it's a musical.
Because I specifically asked.
How was I supposed to know, Jordan? I hadn't seen it yet.
I specifically asked Dima before going to the movie. I said,
"Your fault."
Yeah.
Is this a musical? And Dima said no. And
I didn't think it was a musical. It's not a musical, Jordan.
It is, dude.
No, when you compare it to a musical like High School Musical, it is not a musical.
It's the musical.
Or what's that?
Okay, Jordan, can I ask you this though? Because you're a guy who likes music. Did you not enjoy the music?
I mean, if I wanted to listen to music, I'd turn on Spotify. I wanted to go watch a cool movie.
But like, none of the musical segments go over 2 minutes. Like, they're not that big a part of the movie.
But 15 of them.
I mean, okay, the movie's 2.5 hours long. I'm just saying, like, it was good. I'm not saying it's the best movie ever. I'm not saying it's a masterpiece, but I'm saying I enjoyed it for what it was.
You sat through the entire 4 hours of Beau Was Afraid.
Dude, the ending, yeah, Jesus, man. Like, come on. Jordan, you watched the entire movie, Beau Was Afraid. I wanted to leave early, and you was like, oh no, you gotta figure out what happens.
If there was
a penis slapped us in the face,
I would have stayed, but it was all music.
I'm just going to tell you this, Jordan. I think you need to watch it when it comes to streaming and finish it because it is a good movie. I think you will really thoroughly enjoy the ending.
I'll pick it up from where I left off, but dude,
vigorously.
Come on now.
Now, what I can tell you, and this is why I've been making fun of you, is I knew from about maybe 6 minutes in that this was not going to be Cody's cup of tea. he was getting his phone out like, okay. Yeah.
But the thing that's sad and like kind of contributed to me walking out, like me walking out of that wasn't just like simply, oh, I don't want to watch this anymore. Like I felt like that's what it deserved. Like, you know what I mean? Like I felt like even if it had a redeeming quality at the end, everything that I had seen leading up to me exiting the theater, it was just deserved to be walked out on. It didn't deserve me to sit through it.
Well, I can't even say anything about that, Jordan, because you are with the majority of the people seeing this movie. There is a literal hate train for this movie plowing through theaters.
Like you said, we went with Cody, and you said you knew it wasn't going to be his cup of tea. I agree, but dude, I honestly think he would have enjoyed the first Joker.
I thought he watched I could have sworn he told me
he did not.
Oh, that doesn't help.
No.
Because I would tell anybody, if you didn't like the first Joker or if you didn't see it, definitely don't watch the sequel.
Yeah.
Because the sequel by itself, I wouldn't enjoy it. But as a follow-up, because it's really just an epilogue to the first Joker. It's not even a sequel. It's just wrapping a bow on it.
Why is everything I've been trying to get into recently turn into like them breaking out into song?
I was thinking about that too.
Why is that a thing? Like, what was I just watching? Like, trying to get into for you guys.
That's why. All right. So for anyone listening or watching, we've been tackling Lord of the Rings on our franchise hump day. Matt told Jordan, if you're going to start watching, you start with The Hobbit. I disagree with that because I think Lord of the Rings is way better. Lord of the Rings is way more Game of Thrones, which is what Jordan wants. There are no musical elements in Lord of the Rings movies at all.
No, not one.
Like there's not one sing along. There's not one instrument played. I mean, maybe in the beginning with the Hobbits, they play some instruments, maybe at the birthday party.
Yeah,
but it's not Disney. It's nothing like the Hobbit. The Hobbit's bad. I don't like the Hobbit movies as much as Lord of the Rings. So Matt should have told you to start with Lord of the Rings, but
listen to Demo. He knows some things sometimes.
But also, why is like the second of everything bad? Like Joker, bad. Attack of the bad.
Yeah.
Flow 2.
Yeah, Dima.
What? I don't even know what he said.
Attack of the Drones.
Clones.
Sorry, clones.
I enjoyed it.
We know you do. It's terrible.
All you do.
Like, you finally get to see the clones.
And why did I find out that it was called Joker Folly Ado in theater? Like, I thought it was just Joker 2. Why did they name it that? What is that?
Why did you just find out about that? In the name from like day one.
I love the things he gets worked up about.
What do you really mean?
I don't know.
Just are okay with not knowing?
I don't care. It just sounds cool. I'm sure that's why they went with it. No, I think because Folly is almost like faux, like fake. I feel like it almost implies the movie isn't actually a sequel. That's what I'm saying. It's like an epilogue.
It's like a mistake.
I can't wait to watch it again. I mean that. I really can't.
Okay, so Walking Phoenix though, like what's going on with him? Like why is he just like agreeing to play in shitty movies? Like what's up with that? Why is he agreeing to play in Beau is Afraid? Why is he agreeing to play Folly Ado? What's going on with him?
Apparently Napoleon wasn't good either, so I will give you this. He does seem to be on a weird streak with movies.
It's really turning me off to him because, I really liked him when he was younger, like Signs and stuff. And then what else was he in? I mean, Joker, the first Joker was good.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, Walking Phoenix isn't my problem with Folly Ado. my problem with it is it doesn't give me what I want, which I think is what a lot of people's problem with it is. But the difference is I can't appreciate what I got. But I think everybody wanted him to break out of Arkham, embrace being Joker, and murder a lot of people.
Honestly, that's what I expected.
Yeah, and I think that's the nobody wanted to see Disney magic and dancing and
I was just sad. I don't know, man.
and he feels confined the entire movie. That's my biggest gripe. Like even when he does break out and he's running in the streets of Gotham, it's for a small amount of time. He just always feels confined. He never breaks out and just goes crazy, which is what we want to see, So that's my one gripe. But I think Joaquin Phoenix killed it in that movie. Okay, Abby has texted me the definition. Folie à deux is a rare psychiatric condition that occurs when two or more people in a close relationship share the same or similar delusional beliefs. It directly translates to madness of two. So it's a perfect title for the movie.
So kind of like you guys liking this movie.
Oh my god.
No, I was trying to like it. It's just dude. If the music weren't in it, I could have actually sat and watched it. I wouldn't have loved it because I felt like the movie was so confined. But like I felt like all you got was prison courtroom, at least for what I saw.
That is another gripe a lot of people have. It doesn't bother me, but I can see why it would bother people. The first movie, it's like all over Gotham.
Mm-hmm.
This movie is confined. Again, confined. That's a big theme in this movie to just a couple different areas. And I hate that the best Joker scenes are in his head in musical segments. Like
that's so lazy to me. I hate when in movie writing, you see something that's like a load, and then come to find out it's just like not reality.
Yeah.
I think that's and that's not just with this movie. I think in general, I hate that.
Here's another mistake I will say I think was done with the movie just in pre-production. They got like a $300 million budget, like a huge budget compared to the first film, and it's like all of that went to the cast and then the music that they used for the musical segments.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, Joker 1 felt way bigger and it had a smaller budget.
Yes.
So that was a mistake. They could have done some crazy things with that budget, in my opinion.
Speaking of that lazy kind of writing, did you guys ever hear back when like people were trying to determine how is The Walking Dead gonna end? Like people were saying like, oh, I think Rick's just gonna wake up.
Yeah, I'm on season 4.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's not a spoiler, Dima. Like in the first season when Rick wakes up in the hospital.
Yeah.
There's been a theory since then. I think since season 2. Or no, season 3. Season 3 is when people started to hate the show. That it's all not happening. And Rick's going to wake up one day an old man in the hospital. He's been in a coma this whole time, dreaming all of this.
That would
and Carl's going to be a grown man. He's going to, everyone's still going to be alive.
Wouldn't it be, like disappointing to you guys? Like, wouldn't it be lazy? Kind of like,
yes.
Yeah, because it's basically like a lazy. I'll agree with you on that. It's like a lazy way to tie up something you've built and don't know how to tie up with the story that you've told.
It's just a dream, Dima.
Let's just retcon. That'd be like if Mary Decroux ended with Steven waking up on the floor after tripping on the ladder. None of that happened. Yeah. Like, oh, I'm just a guy still.
Yeah.
I don't have to answer any questions about what's going on because it didn't happen.
Right.
So no, I'll agree with you on that, Jordan.
I've been watching McMahon.
Yeah, I'm on episode. I think I'm still on episode 3. I gotta finish that, and then I'll be on 4. I've been watching it at night when I'm in bed.
I was gonna say something about that.
Go for it.
I had no idea like how much Hulk kind of like carried the WWF. Is it?
It was WWF, yeah.
Dude, I had no idea he was like I don't know, man. He was so much more involved with like what it is today than I ever thought.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, I
learning.
mean, he's kind of what made it the spectacle that it became. Like he was a big part of the first WrestleMania, and they kind of rode off of his steam as long as they could until he got burnt out. And he actually retired for a little bit. Like he tried to retire pretty young.
Can I ask you something though? Like at least
Yeah.
that, why are they making this seem like it's building up to something like dark and you know what I mean? Like if like I'm watching it and I feel like I'm watching a I feel like I'm watching a documentary about how the WWE formed, but they're trying to make it this like dark, sinister like thing that's going to lead up to something that has you like, but it never does.
So I have some insight on that. I listened to a podcast where the guy's pretty involved in the wrestling world. Like he's actually backstage working with the companies and yada yada. Apparently, this documentary was being done because they filmed it a couple years ago to really highlight how impressive Vince McMahon is just as a person, as a media mogul, as a titan of, sports entertainment, and how he's made it what it is. So it's supposed to be like celebrating him essentially, but then all the allegations came out.
Yeah.
And he had to retire. And then he came back for a little bit, but then more allegations came out, and it was like, "Yeah, dude, you're out." Because TKO bought out WWE. They own UFC, and they put people at the table like The Rock. The Rock doesn't really have a great relationship with Mr. McMahon, so he kind of got pushed out along with some other corrupt individuals in the WWE. And I think they kind of rerouted where they were going to go with what they filmed for the documentary. So that's why it's not going to really tackle. I think my understanding is the last episode talks a little bit about the allegations, but because they're still being tried in court, they can't really close on it or talk about some things legally. So, but I think that's why, because I agree with you. It's like, even on the first episode, you feel like you're leading towards like him murdering his family or something. Because it's just like, Jesus, man. Like,
but it's not. It's just telling you the story of the WWE. And I mean,
but they really emphasize, I think it's in the second episode, the female referee that first accused him of like having to give him blowjobs to keep her salary.
Yeah, I guess it's like, all right, it's called McMahon. So like, what about it? Like, what about him? Like is this leading?
They make him look like such a clown too, or just an ass because, which I guess he is, but he wears a freaking neck brace to court to try to get sympathy out of the jury.
Just nothing I've seen is like a big deal. Like the steroids thing, like
but that's my point. They're highlighting shit like that to try to make you like, oh, he's just fucking ridiculous and blah 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 blah. And it's like,
and like one of the episodes ended, and it was like, and then the steroids thing happened, and then like the episode ended. I'm like, okay, like,
yeah,
like every sport ever, like baseball, and I don't know, like, okay,
yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I'm enjoying it though.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm enjoying it, and I am curious to see how it ends. Like I have heard this guy on the podcast talks about the last episode is the only time you'll hear them talk about the current allegations, but they can't say too much legally. And he says he feels like they're going to follow up with another part, like a part 2 to this once they've closed the trial and they've determined him guilty or not guilty. So maybe that's why they're building it with that kind of dark anticipation, because they feel like he is guilty. It's almost like they're assuming his guilt already.
Yeah.
Which is messed up. I mean, obviously if you've got a whole wasp's nest coming at you, you probably shook it a little bit. So he probably did some shit, I don't know. But I will say there's a lot of wrestlers that have been on podcasts recently and they act like he definitely did some of this shit. Like they don't speak on it, but they act like they can understand people coming out with allegations. And one of them even kind of insinuates there's people that could come out that haven't. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. I just want them to talk about Brock Lesnar. Dude, the allegations with Brock Lesnar are fucking wild.
Brock.
Anyway, look, Dima's actually like met these people, and he's just like,
Dima,
I'm
why are you?
professional.
Are you in the documentary?
No, God, no. Not that I'm aware of.
Do you associate yourself with the McMahon estate?
No. I was there for a job. I did my job.
How much did he pay you to do what you did?
He didn't pay me at all.
He actually did. No, you were actually there under the Triple H reign, so you were there.
I'm good.
You would have been dealing with a whole different backstage environment if Vince McMahon were still there.
Okay.
So you probably would have been taking an RKO in the ring.
You know, I was kind of hoping.
I wanted it so bad.
I really liked where you had us sitting in the movie theater, by the way.
Wait, did you actually?
Dude, yes. And that movie was actually a prime example of why. Dude, I'm telling you, the back row is sketchy, man. That's like where all the people go.
Well, that's where I like to be, is in the center. I just usually when I get tickets, it's sold out, and that's why I wanted to get these early.
Why did the mall cops kick that dude out?
I don't know. We haven't talked about that actually.
Back there.
I don't know.
Dima, as somebody who used to be security there, no, this is important because you would have insight on this. With that response, that had to be more than just I'm filming the movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, that was not that big of a response.
She walked out with a blanket. I think they just had
it was sexual, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
But there were kids.
Dude, I don't even know if I can talk about that on here.
Because why did the dad go, and then it was like 8 minutes later the mom and the kids go? Like, it made me think he was doing some shit, and they were told you guys can stay and watch the movie, and then they just didn't want to because dad just got escorted away.
I honestly don't know.
I'm going AFK for a second. Hold on.
Oh, you're good. But let me just paint this picture for anyone listening or watching. We're sitting in this theater. There's like 12 people in our theater, maybe. And 4 of them are us, because we had the 4 guys to my left, so that's 8. Got that family, dad, mom, 2 kids, 12. I don't know of anyone else that was in there.
No, that pretty much sums it up.
Okay. All of a sudden, we see security popping up at all the exit doors. Like, there's a guy in a yellow shirt over here, guy in a yellow shirt over here, guy back here, guy back here. And then there's a big dude in a button-up with a flashlight walking around. And then at the one point in the movie, because it's going on for like 10 minutes before anything happens. Then all at one point, there's flashlights just like, I remember we were looking like a dog, like, oh. And then we go behind us, and that big dude in the button-up is walking the back row with his flashlight. Next we see, he's got some hoss, he's escorting him out of the theater. I'm like, what was he doing that involved having security at every exit, flashlights? Like, it honestly kind of annoyed me because I'm trying to watch this movie for the first time.
No, I'm very distracted.
It kind of pissed me off. But I'm like, if there's a serious threat, which is what that kind of tells me.
Yes.
Thank you for your response, I guess. But like, can't we just like pause the movie and turn the lights on and get them the fuck out of there? I mean, I don't understand.
So when I was there, we went in. There's like 4 of us there, and then we had like 2 or 3 county guys there.
Yeah.
And they shut off the movie, turned on all the lights, and we cleared the entire back row out because it was all juveniles acting a fool.
Mm-hmm.
And they were told multiple times, like, fucking knock it off. So
God damn it, Mark. I don't know if he's watching right now. Sorry.
Oh, I thought I missed something.
Me?
No, I'll tell you in a second. Keep talking.
And they cleared it out, but I mean, we had a bigger response for that than whatever the hell happened during that. So I don't think it was that big of a deal. I think they just thought they were something more than what they were and wanted to feel extremely important in that moment, because it didn't seem like they needed like 4 people for that. So I don't know.
Okay, that's fair. I don't know. It just seemed like overkill because it didn't seem like he was doing anything that serious. I don't know.
I agree.
So I just opened a snap from Mark. He was watching our stream earlier. But he sent a picture of you and I, and underneath he put, "I'm here for when Grant comes on."
Oh,
That's funny. All right. Well,
wow.
hey, we talked about him.
Yeah, we did.
That's that's the funny thing is like thinking about where we were in life at different parts of this movie.
Yeah.
And that's something we can talk about, and even Jordan could add in on this. Like getting us three, just us three together. I would say us three hang out more than any other combination of our friend group.
Yeah.
Is very difficult. And when we were filming this movie, there were times where like we had completely polar opposite schedules, like where it barely could work. So like it's funny to look at certain scenes and to think about all the effort that went into just capturing that little 30-second shot, or like anything we did with Jordan, it was like we got to get it done pretty quick. We don't have a lot of time.
Why is that?
You wanted your hot meal.
Well, no, it's just like because of how schedules were. Like, for instance, when we were at Grant and Rachel's house filming that interview scene, like we weren't there that long. Like we didn't have a lot of time. We're in somebody else's home. We all have to get back to our homes. And I have to put on this fucking makeup and shit. So it just felt like once we were ready to film, it was like we kind of got to bust this out in like 30 minutes. And we did it, but I don't know, just sometimes it can be frustrating. But it's funny to like look back at it now because the movie's together and it looks great and everything. It's like, oh, okay, cool. But to think about everything that went into just that one scene, all the planning and execution, and Jordan trying to rush us so he can eat, and it's just like it's crazy. Like think about us filming the prologue, like downtown Hamilton, walking around filming me, just we filmed a lot more than what's in that intro.
Yeah, we
like
did.
There's
we were
a
out
lot
for like an entire day.
Yeah, we spent a day down there. Yeah.
Just different areas, different shots.
Oh, something I wanted to talk about. So there's 3 Mary Decroux, right, that are seen in this movie at one point or another. In the beginning, I'll reference this really quick. Why not? Let's see here. Kill the music. All right. Right here. I'm terrible at the scrolling shit. There we go. Pause, mother. All right. So the symbolism here is pretty cool because we have a red Mary Decroux, which is Stephen. We have a yellow Mary Decroux, which is in the premonition. And then we have another. So there's like symbolism right here. And I'm looking at the other 2. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was just an accident that happened to work out perfect.
It was an accident. And I remember when I was editing, I was like, that's really cool that those just happen to be the colors that we're using for this film, because it was completely accidental. Like this was just one of many businesses that we filmed me walking in front of, and we wanted to get traffic driving by. So I don't know, I just thought that was cool. Jordan?
He muted himself. Oh,
yeah.
There we go.
Oh my gosh. Are you ready?
What?
For your film.
A
movie all about you.
The rise and fall.
No, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm excited for Dima's movie. I think it's gonna be my masterpiece. Like, I'm filming it, I'm directing it, I wrote it. It's gonna be my magnum opus. But once we get done with that and we do your movie, I'm excited to have you take the fucking screen. Like, I don't know. I think you're gonna fucking kill it.
I'm primarily interested in the cartoon.
I know. Yeah, so Jordan likes the cartoon that I do sometimes. He wishes I would do it more, I guess.
God, dude, the motorcycle thing was so funny.
Oh?
Oh. Oh.
Interesting. There we go. Do I have maybe?
Oh, what happened?
Yeah,
Welcome
don't
back.
do that.
Yeah, did you guys talk?
Yeah, it was. We just went quiet and got really awkward.
Well, I just wasn't sure what was happening. Like, I guess he's done.
Dima just replaced me. Ah, there
I
we
did.
go.
Oh, whoa.
You know what? I kind of like Jordan being up here.
I kind of like being like a, yeah.
Oh,
Can you
well,
put like a picture there for me, or
you can do that.
You can turn your light on and turn your camera on.
I can't control what your display is.
I'm on a phone here. Audio avatar.
At least I don't think I can.
Oh,
Edit name. I can edit your name.
Let's see.
I can remove you.
Let's do. Try and find something here. All right, just continue.
God.
Mhm.
Oh, ooh, shit. I think Matt's gonna be getting on here in a second.
I'm gonna need him to like.
Oh, so Matt has a bone to pick with you, Jordan.
Oh, Jordan's in trouble.
What's up?
He feels like you avoid him.
You do.
How?
Well, you left as soon as he showed up to Dima's the other night.
I
Yeah, you
mean,
did.
he also showed up. Like, tell me when the. All right, so let me ask you this: what time was the event?
I don't know.
Hold on, I got you.
What time? What time was it?
19:07.
He showed up at 23.
It's like 22.
Oh, wait a minute. I gotta
Why is that my name?
Hold on, this is better. There we go.
The eye touch.
When that product releases, everything will change. No, but yeah, he felt like you just bailed as soon as he showed up, and you didn't even talk to him.
I did that.
He was kind of,
you know.
yeah.
Well,
last week.
maybe he should not show up like when everyone's ready to go.
He was like, man, he couldn't even like talk to me for just a minute or two.
No,
nope.
No, he
I didn't know what to say. I really didn't know what to say. I'm like, yeah, that is kind of awkward.
Yeah, well.
Like, I imagine I show up late to something and Jordan's leaving. It's like, okay, it just happens to be that's when things are
Just
happening.
happened to be that way.
But like, hey, you can't just stop me like, hey, Kyle. Or,
Life's just a big roll of the dice.
Yeah, especially with you.
Can you see my picture?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So we got Julian and Bubbles. That's great. Dude, you're gonna wait. Who did we decide is gonna be Bubbles?
Me.
Okay. Yeah, so Dima, you and Jordan are coming over to my house for Halloween unless you and Leah have plans. I kind of assumed you didn't. But
do we have an event for that?
no, it's kind of like an unofficial thing. I should make an event, I guess. But Abby's gonna be out of town.
Right.
I'm gonna be alone for
I
Halloween.
wish we had like a bunch of viewers so we could like do polls and stuff.
Yeah, dude, there was one point this sounds so lame to highlight, but we had 6 viewers at one point. That was cool. It's more than we ever get on Wednesdays.
Yeah. Maybe we should
Jordan, we're getting there, all right? It's a work in progress.
Can't you just buy like bots or something to like kind of type in there? You know?
Well, we did get some I'm glad you said that, Jordan, because these aren't bots, but we actually had some comments on our movie that I wanted to talk about.
Quick ball.
There we go. So, Jordan, do you like that soundtrack cover?
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew you would. All right. All right, so we had Rob ST6QH. He commented on the movie, freaky, impressive that most of it is in the daytime. I actually hadn't really thought about that. Love the music. Confusing timeline though. Yeah, it is confusing. I'll give you that. Cali K2335. Why is this better? Oh my god. Why is this better than the Joker sequel?
That's crazy.
DC should hire you guys for their Black Label. No fucking way. Well, that just made Jordan's day. I mean, okay, I appreciate that comment. I don't like comparing anything, and I especially can't compare something that we made to Todd Phillips, one of the best filmmakers alive today. So I really appreciate that comment, though. You obviously didn't like the Joker sequel. And then this is Jenkins YK4ZU. Oh, geez. This is a tease. Hopefully there is a part 2 coming. So that comment actually happened when we first posted this 5 months ago. So I guess I commented back already. But yeah, there is going to be a sequel. So appreciate the comments. Appreciate the comment on the music too. I'm very proud of the music. Sometimes I wonder if those are just Jordan. Jordan, are you Cali K? Dude, it's literally. Hold on, can I screen share this? I can. Jordan, I think this is you. Hold on. Let me see this. Mother yucker. All right. Look, it's a picture of Michael Scott peeking through the blinds. That's very Jordan.
It is very.
It says, why is this better than the Joker sequel? The only thing I don't think you would know about DC's Black Label, so God, that is such a Jordan thing to do, though. You wouldn't like that. Yeah. All right. Well. Yeah, I just noticed that it was Michael Scott. And I was like, that has to be fucking Jordan.
Are you guys wanting to see Smile 2?
Can I be honest with... okay. I couldn't finish the first one.
Oh.
I liked the first one.
Oh.
This is getting really awkward.
Oh, hey, Jordan. Here's the helicopter.
What helicopter?
You remember when I first showed you guys the movie and you were like, dude, how did you get that helicopter in there?
Oh, my God.
I was hanging it on fishing line and I tilted it down like this to make it drop. And then I added a searchlight and the blinking light and post effects. And I obviously darkened the helicopter up. Yeah. That's it. That's a toy helicopter.
Wow.
Yeah, Smile and Dima, I'm not going to spoil anything, but I got like 30 something minutes into the first one and I was bored. I don't know why it wasn't working for me.
I don't know why you guys haven't seen the movie It Follows. That's actually one of my favorite.
Dude, I've watched that like 20 times.
Really?
What are you talking about? I'm pretty sure you and I watched at the mall together.
Oh my God. I just rewatched it just now.
Yeah, because remember that scene where the naked older lady standing on the roof and I was like, dude, that's so A24.
Yes, but it was
okay. So we definitely watched that together. Dima, if you have not seen that, you need to watch. I don't even know why that's not on the watch list.
What would you do, Kyle, like in that situation?
I'm going to tell you right now, I'd kill myself.
You wouldn't let it get the better of you?
No, I'd kill myself. I couldn't live life like that. Dima, let me explain the premise to you.
Terrifying.
Let me explain the premise. There is essentially this thing that can take up other people's bodies, and it is constantly coming for you no matter where you go on this planet.
At one speed.
And you know one day it will eventually catch up to you. Like, it might be years, century, like it is going to catch up to you.
So how do you sleep?
That's what I always wondered.
Like, I'm telling you right now, I am not a suicidal person. I would never even consider it. But in that situation, if I know something is just constantly following me like that and it wants to do things to me or whatever, I'm going to off myself. I'm not, because if you watch that movie, they are miserable. The people that this thing is following, they're miserable.
Dude, I don't know who that blonde is, but these pictures make her look terrified. In every single picture.
Oh, it's freaky, dude.
It's
There's
absolute misery.
like there are some scenes in that movie that actually make me feel uncomfortable to be in my own house. Like it is it's a very good horror movie. Very good horror movie. Jordan, you know they're making a sequel to that?
They need to.
Yeah. Let me actually see if I can
Trending movies. Joker.
find some details.
It's coming off of Netflix here shortly.
Dima, I hate to tell you, but the Joker sequel is trending for all the wrong reasons.
I assumed.
It's literally hate train is what it's been labeled because
why can't you guys just say like it was a bad movie, but I enjoyed watching it?
No, it was a good movie.
I think
that's the thing. I think it's art. I think the whole movie is just art. I really, really enjoyed it. Again, the things I don't like about it are things that I can't control. I don't like that it didn't do what I wanted it to do. But that's not fair to say because of that, it's not a good movie. It's very well filmed. The music is beautiful in it. It's well performed. And Lady Gaga and Joaquin Phoenix kill their roles. Like, so I can't say it's a bad movie just because it didn't do what I wanted it to do.
Jordan.
I refuse. I am not getting on the hate. Yeah, it's currently in production. It's called They Follow. Oh, wow. I'm excited for that. Dima, you need to watch It Follows. It's leaving Netflix soon.
Like that. Like the perfect teen scream movie.
Look here. Whatever stupid Star Wars animes crap you're watching right now, you need to get rid of that. You need to quit watching Dexter for the 20th time. You need to start watching It Follows tonight.
I think I've like
maybe tomorrow.
I
think I've really determined that I like A24 horror movies, but I think the most specific genre that I'm into when it comes to movies is that of which is typically labeled as teen screams.
That's what it's labeled as? It says
really?
horror mystery.
Is that what it's labeled as?
Pretty
horror
sure.
Mystery.
It's about teens. And they scream.
But
they do.
It's labeled as horror mystery. At least on Safari.
I have to step away for 1 second. I'll be right back. Sorry, Jordan.
Yeah, I do too. See you, Jordan. No comment.
Why are you shaving? Okay. Oh.
Yeah. That's all. Oh.
All right. What did I miss?
Jordan asked why I was shaving, so I told him. He went, "Oh."
Dude, anyone who sticks around for this whole thing is going to be really concerned about us.
Yes.
Jortan.
When did that change?
I don't know. I liked iTouch. Is Matt going to get on here? Did he fall asleep?
I'm going to guess he fell asleep.
Well,
I'm heading towards that direction.
Yeah, same. Jordan, I feel like you brought something up I wanted to talk about, though, and I can't remember what it was now. Oh, you were talking about A24.
Did you appreciate my shirt that I wore?
Yes.
Yes, I always appreciate that shirt.
I need Abby to cricket me. Like, you know how some people get like a Kenny Chesney shirt and on the front it like says Kenny Chesney, and then on the back it's got like all of the tour dates and locations and stuff.
Yes.
I want that, but like with all of the movie names on the back.
That'd be cool.
Like the ones that you like or all of them?
The ones I like.
Okay. All right. Let's say because there's a lot of A24 movies, but not all of them are really that good. But I will say recently they definitely have a consistency, excluding Beau is Afraid.
I want that on there.
Oh, jeez. Okay. In all seriousness, though, I have a gripe with you, and that's I knew there was something when you said A24 that I wanted to talk to you about. So you're trying to tell me, and I want you to be completely honest right now. You're trying to tell me that you appreciated watching Lamb more than Joker Fully I Do.
Yes.
Dude, that is the stupidest fuck. And Jordan, you had me watch that movie. I want you to know this. You always say that you pick bangers. That was the dumbest fucking movie. I would watch freaking Beau is Afraid again. I never want like Lamb shouldn't even exist.
It's creepy though.
It's stupid. It's so dumb.
It's really creepy and weird. It gives me the feeling that I want when I'm watching. Like, that movie honestly provides me one of the main feelings that I seek when watching an A24 film.
What, being uncomfortable?
It's almost like what do you call that? Like it's uncanny.
Yeah.
I like that.
I'm not saying I don't like that feeling. I'm just saying it's not really earned well in this movie. Like just look at the script without the child being a lamb.
God,
it's boring. The script is really boring. You've got fucking like people living off the land in Iceland or Greenland, where the fuck they are, and they have like a torn relationship, and it's just like that's it. Like if the daughter wasn't an animal, there would be nothing interesting about that movie. Nothing. The whole movie rides off the fact that they have a CGI lamb for a child.
God, and it's so creepy though.
It's dumb, dude. It feels like a Disney movie when they suck the fun out of it.
Ugh.
Like if you remember, Jordan, the reason I told you I didn't watch that because I said the trailers looked very Disney. Like they showed it skipping down the field, holding both sides of her paws or whatever the fuck sheep have.
But it's weird that they don't really like address the fact that she's a lamb.
Well, I mean, the ending kind of says what happened, right?
I can't really remember.
The fucking big demonic like sheep thing.
Wasn't that thing creepy though?
Yeah, like obviously it like had sex with the mom at some point.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, it's weird but stupid. Like I don't know. And then Men is almost equally as dumb. That movie did have things that freaked me out though. Lamb didn't freak me out.
That's the only thing I like. That's the only thing I'm going for here.
Like
man, that's weird. Like yeah, that's really it. Like that's all I'm really saying with those movies. Weird.
Like we're big fans of Alex Garland, but Men was fucking I'm sorry, dude. Men was stupid.
God, I love Alex Garland.
I know, and I do too. And we also like Ari Aster, but Beau is Afraid is stupid. Like, I'm just saying, like, there's been some dumb movies recently. It's like these directors, and I'll even say Todd Phillips is falling in this category right now. They make a fucking banger or a couple, and they feel like they can do whatever the fuck they want.
What is Beau is Afraid?
I still can't find an explanation on that. I'm not going to lie to you.
When are we rewatching it?
We're not.
When you try to make me rewatch Lamb. That's how much I hated that movie, Jordan. I really did. I didn't want to tell you that in the moment, but I really hated that movie. I was kind of mad at you for making me watch it.
I will say I truly think Beau is Afraid is a masterpiece that we just can't appreciate.
Jordan, we are intellectuals and we can't figure it out.
Jordan, we literally spent 4.5 hours breaking that movie down scene by scene, and we couldn't find something to appreciate about it other than it ended.
I just know there's a Matt out there with glasses and a notepad watching that movie cross-legged, drinking tea, like Oh yes, I really appreciate that. Like that's very good cinematography. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Like
No,
we're
it's filmed very well,
we're
but
missing something.
yeah, a good movie.
The
A good,
attic scene is what I really thought kind of like brought it all together. Like that's where I was like, oh, okay.
the giant penis with praying mantis arms.
Well, see, when you put it like that, though, it's like, oh.
There's no other way to put that, Jordan. That's exactly what it was.
What was your reaction when you saw that?
I remember I was laughing hysterically. I thought it was fucking absurd because there was so much like the only thing that was keeping me kind of hooked into wanting to watch this movie is knowing what was in that fucking attic because they hint at it throughout the movie. And then you get up there and it's that.
And what did it say? It said something.
I don't
I couldn't
remember.
even tell you.
I was laughing too
I
hard.
probably don't remember 90% of that movie.
Can you pull that up, like that scene?
It didn't used to be online. We'll see if it is now. I guess there's been more time since we did our podcast on it. But I'm gonna say something that I said in our podcast. If the movie had stayed on the family that he is with, in the second act of the movie, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
If it had stayed with them, I actually was very into their story.
Yes.
I think there's something about Beau is Afraid that, like, I think, and I'm going to try and explain this the best way I can. I don't think you're supposed to like the movie. I think you're just supposed to talk about it. And, dude, think about how long it's been, like, a topic of conversation for us.
Yeah, because of you.
Like, you know how they say, like, no bad publicity is, or what's that saying? Like, what do they call that? Like, there's no such thing as like bad publicity or something. I don't know what that saying is, but
that's pretty much the premise.
It's basically like, just because you're being talked about, like whether you're being talked about for good or bad, the fact that you're being talked about is an accomplishment.
All publicity is good publicity, is what you're trying to say.
I think that's it. Yeah.
That is correct.
Here's your masterpiece, Jordan.
There is the scene on something.
I'm not playing that on your.
Why?
YouTube's gonna kick us for that shit. That is a hard R-rated movie. That's specifically because of that scene.
Remember, like, like he was told all his life he can't.
Yes. Yeah, they blew the opportunity on that too, because when they have sex and then all these people just come in and start cleaning up the room, it had that Hereditary feel, like, oh, there's a cult watching him, you know, and then they didn't capitalize on that, because then he's out in that freaking boat in the middle of that Coliseum. And everybody in the movie's yelling at him and shit. And it's just like, dude, this is stupid.
Is this like my memory failing me?
Okay.
Or was that guy that from what's that like series we watched for Matt that like I really hated?
For Matt?
Yeah, it's like the guns and the killing and Keanu Reeves or something.
John Wick.
Yeah, is it just me, or do I remember the guy from John Wick that goes, "Somebody please"? Wasn't he in Beau's Afraid? Wasn't he like the therapist?
Yes.
No, that is him.
Is that just me?
I think. Hold on.
That is him.
Hold on. Let's
fact check that.
Yeah.
Somebody please get
Oh no, it's not. It's Stephen McKinley as the
Oh, that
third
is so embarrassing. And you know why?
Oh yeah, he plays Morpheus in the Matrix.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. Oh, he's in Dune Part 2.
Yeah, but I think the fact that we've been talking about this movie so
You.
consistently for so long, it's what Ari Aster wanted.
It's not we.
Okay,
It is you.
removing the confines of our group, because the only reason it's ever talked about is because of you. But removing that, I will give you this: there are a lot of subreddits dedicated to trying to figure out what that movie is. There's big supporters that rally behind it and say it's a masterpiece, and they're not joking. They actually say it's a masterpiece, and they want Ari Aster to just be unhinged like that for the rest of his filmmaking. I'm like, no, I want more Hereditary and Midsummer, please.
Yes.
Please. That dude needs a filter. He needs a big filter.
An attic size filter.
He was just reaching so hard, like that whole movie, I feel like.
Do we think he was like on drugs when he was making that?
No, I think he.
No,
Hallucinogens?
it feels like a bunch of different ideas he's had throughout his life, and he just put them all together and knew they wouldn't work, and he didn't care. Like, if you think about it, every act of the movie is completely different and almost unrelated to what happened prior or what's coming after.
Yeah.
Like him living in the apartment, having the fucking envelope flying under the door, and
Yeah.
the parade marching in all creepy and shit.
Yeah.
What did that have to do with anything else that happens in the movie?
Nothing. Because they never explained a single thing.
No.
Remember when he was on trial?
Oh, God. Yeah.
On that note, it's been real. I'm out.
See you guys.
I'm kidding.
Oh.
No,
I'm
we
just making fun
should
of the
wrap
movie.
this up there. It's getting late. I don't think Matt's going to get on.
I agree.
I think he fell asleep. I think he forgot he was getting on. Okay, well, to anyone who has watched this to this point, thank you so much. We appreciate you. The longer you watch, the better our analytics are, which is good for our stream overall. So appreciate it. If you haven't already, hit the like or dislike, whatever you want to do, and subscribe. We much appreciate it. And we'll be doing a live stream Wednesday. Not really sure what we're tackling yet, to be decided. But if it's just me and Dima, we'll be talking about the Penguin for sure.
Yep, nice when you watch that.
Probably be a musical again.
No, it's in the same world as the Batman. You liked that movie, Jordan.
And you can't say you didn't on the internet.
Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoy Married Decroux. Let us know your thoughts about the movie. Ask more questions. We'll catch you guys next time.
3, 2